year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
Well, I'm riding around town bumping shit that can
Bingo,
feel.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving,
Yeah.
grooving, give you something
KC, you
now.
the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
What? Riding around town bumping shit that can
Bingo,
feel.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something
Look,
now.
I'm sipping Bacardi, visualizing on the farm Ferrari.
Catch a buzz from the lights that we store in the party.
I'm swag immaculate, kicking this rap shit till I'm 40.
It's like electricity, just float the
Being easy with breezes and winding down and out, baby, I'm sorry.
Switch the game, change it up, falling off now hard.
Picture me rolling Maserati with some hoes in the back.
Switching lanes, taking pictures with a bitch in my lap.
Clap your hands, everybody, if you feel this shit.
KC,
Bingo,
on the mic,
and that's it.
take a trip down south that we call the Abyss.
I'm most curious about my silver Air Forces.
And we receiving major paper from multiple sources.
Of course, it's the bosses that handle the business.
Spice the game a little bit, cause the flavor diminished.
Like Kane and Old Dog, we society's menace.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
KC,
Bingo, knocking at your door. Here it is again. Let's go, KC, you the shit this year.
yeah, I'm the shit this year.
Well, I'm riding around town, bumping shit that can feel.
You the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something
KC,
now.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
What? Riding around town, bumping shit that can
Bingo,
feel.
you the shit this year.
Yeah, I'm the shit this year.
And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now. Attack the track like a lion, cause I'm so ferocious. When the wind blow, I fly, cause my image on posters. It be wise to decide to not try to approach us. Get burnt like bread when it's stuck in the toaster. And you hoes like clothes, I told ya I fold ya. In the mornings I have Folgers with my doja. I suppose it's time to smell the roses. Clear my mind, check the snakes is close.
I keep my status but stamina, swagging on niggas just amateurs. Style stay funkin' and cannabis. It's scandalous the way these bitches try to handle us. It's city balls, ball swords in my Polaroid camera. I want my niggas on the propaganda. Welcome to this extravaganza. Hennessy, sipping weed, smoking enhancer. Even though we know that way to go is not the answer, I won't chance the opportunity to blow this shit.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm back. Saturday Night Lights. Saturday Night Heights. I don't know. The plan is to talk about The Matrix. And I got some news. And I got a couple of clips. I'm supposed to have Pat on too. We supposed to chop it up. I don't know where he's at right now. Hit the link. Hit the link.
ERC2 News begins right now with breaking news.
And they cowardly shot 2 victims. Y'all know I'm very respectful of people. But right now, I'm damn mad. It makes no sense.
Breaking right now at 10 o'clock, an off-duty police officer from New Orleans shot and killed while having dinner at a restaurant in the Galleria area. Another victim in the hospital tonight in critical condition.
Now police are looking for the 2 people who they say committed the crime. Take a look at your screen. Police just releasing these surveillance images of 2 men wanted in that deadly shooting. They're asking anyone to come forward with information.
That shooting happened just after 5 o'clock tonight at the Grotto restaurant on Westheimer near West Loop South. And that is where we find KPRC2's Bill Barajas, who joins us live tonight.
And Bill, what can you tell us about the investigation?
Well, lots of questions right now as to why this turned deadly. All indications from the Houston Police Department and Police Chief Troy Finner are that the victims complied with the suspects who were attempting to rob them. They complied with their demands. The chief trying to figure out why one of those suspects decided to fire. Now, as you mentioned, an off-duty New Orleans police officer shot and killed someone he was with, also from New Orleans, was taken to the hospital. He is in critical condition. This all played out at the Grotto restaurant on the patio there. Chief Troy Finner calling on the city to come together and help put these men behind bars. These were just put out. Houston police saying the images show the suspect responsible for the shooting and their getaway car.
You got a group of individuals visiting our city, sitting on the patio, enjoying dinner. 2 suspects approach from the side on the patio, present guns, demanding articles. All the witnesses and the victims say everybody complied. One of the suspects fired. shooting 2 individuals.
The scene unfolding in broad daylight. One of the victims, an off-duty New Orleans police officer, dying from his injuries. The other man in critical condition. Chief Troy Finner says he's unsure if the off-duty officer was carrying his weapon.
Did they at any point, the off-duty officer at any point tried to stop these guys, or were they?
I don't think so. And what I'm hearing is everybody complied, and they cowardly shot 2 victims.
Crime scene tape was used to rope off access to the popular Galleria area restaurant. This clearly a couple expecting to dine in were instead turned away.
You think that this area, the Grotto specifically, is a really nice place to go. Never had a second thought about coming here to this restaurant in this location, and it makes you stop and think. It can happen anywhere.
Chief Finner pleading with the public to help put these suspects behind bars and to be on the lookout for the getaway car.
A gray or silver. All
Man, what'd you think about that? How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Always happy to see you on here, bro. I always appreciate it.
It's good to be here, man. Appreciate you for having me. It's now. I thought this was a Houston story.
Yeah, that was right there in the Galleria.
Okay, so the New Orleans folks were visiting in Houston, and the 2 cops were police officers from New Orleans.
I think that's what they said. Yeah.
That's interesting. This is just a random thing, I assume, or
It's just it caught my eye because just like the white people said at the end, like that's the Galleria, bro. That's the Grotto, bro. Like who the hell is shooting up people over there, bro? Like that's supposed to be a nice area. I'm supposed to be safe over there.
hey, everything is safe until it's not, you know. That's the thing about it. Well, I say everything, but
Yeah, that's why that news story caught my eye because it was in the Galleria, and then it's an off-duty police officer got shot. It just sounds weird.
yeah, I don't know. So, well, I mean, I guess trying to set up robbery in the Galleria. I mean, it's going to where the money is, but
It just sounds. The story don't add up though. Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely something weird about that. And then them shooting, even though like really with no reason. If everybody's complying, take the shit and go. You know what I'm saying?
So maybe it wasn't a robbery at all.
That's something to think about. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a strange one there. It just doesn't add up. Like if you purely there to get you trying to hurry up and get on down, but if you turn around, you start shooting, maybe there was more to it than that. You know.
That's the only reason why I played it. I don't really have much comment about it. It was just random as hell.
Yeah. So
how you feeling?
Man?
It's the same, bro. Like, I worked all day today. I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know why I'm even doing this, but I enjoy it. But I'm tired as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. And I gotta work all day tomorrow too.
Yeah, well, I guess we found this was my off day, and
that's how it goes. And I've been keeping you up during the week when you got to get up in the morning. Yeah, that's how it goes, though. But it's cool. I love doing this. You never know which way the conversations go, so it'd be surprising. I go back and watch the videos, and it'd be kind of like, because if you just take your time and just listen to it, then the conversations flow, and then we end up on something interesting. Yeah. I got a couple of clips of The Matrix, but I can save them. We can play them whenever. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? What's on your heart?
I got a little excited with the title. I'm cool with I'm cool with whatever direction it goes in.
Okay. Yeah, I got two clips. Let me play. You like anime? You ever watch any anime?
not regularly. I mean, I've seen some stuff. I don't, I'm not like really. There's nothing that is on TV or anything that I really get to
Me
see.
neither. There's nothing. I was scrolling on YouTube, but I was into the Matrix, so I never got to watch the Animatrix, and a lot of people say it's pretty good, so I haven't checked it out. But here's a clip. This is a clip from that.
All right.
Check it out.
So the leaders of men conceived of their most desperate strategy yet. A final solution. The destruction of the sky.
Hotel Bravo, this is Papa 1. Operation Dark Storm initiated.
Woodman tried to cut the machines off from the sun, their main energy source. May there be mercy on man and machine for their sins.
That give you an idea of what the Animatrix is. It's kind of like it gives you a background of the Matrix, like it explains some of the stuff, like it goes more in depth and shows like that was showing like how like they was trying to defeat the machine, so they scorched the sky and made it dark because the machines used solar power, and they thought they was gonna be able to beat them that way, but they didn't. So, but what I think is interesting about that idea is that I think that humans, we would act. That sounds really plausible. Like we would do something really stupid like that. You know what I mean? Like now, how the hell we gonna grow plants now? What about us seeing the sun? What'd you think about that?
Because I was, somewhat lost in this whole little video because I'm not
I'm
sure.
gonna play another one, not of the animation
context.
but yeah, I'm gonna play another video, and it'll actually give that video more context. But it's gonna be a clip from the actual movie of The Matrix. I probably should have played that one first, but in that clip that I'm gonna play, he talks about how the war happened and they scorched the sky, and that video was kind of showing what it may have been like or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Through animation. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I was flipping through that shit, and I think I'm gonna check it out just to like give me more ideas about the Matrix, because that's what it is. Like it explains some stuff that I didn't really understand. Like the baby face that they show in the Matrix is like the machine made like a baby face so it can be like more appealing to humans, or they figured a face of a baby would be the most appealing or friendly image to have towards humans. And that made me think, because like the name of this is, are we in a simulation, and like, are we in the Matrix? So like if an alien or a monster or a devil or demon or something was trying to get you, then like, because then they have the movie like Devil in the Blue Dress or whatever, like they say the devil is beautiful or some shit like that. But what if it was a baby or a child or something? What if that would be something, right?
Most people love kids, so even just a little innocent little kid, it would probably be something that would at least distract you, or
for a moment, long enough for it to get your ass. Yeah.
Yeah, have you long enough to be unarmed, not be on guard so much. Yeah. But
yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and play the Matrix clip just cause, and then we could talk about the simulation shit, and we could talk about the shit that they talked about in this. This is a cool ass clip.
All right.
Hold on.
You wanted to know what the Matrix is, Neo? Trinity? Try to relax. This will feel a little weird. This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today. Welcome to the desert of the real. We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. Throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony. The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found all the energy they would ever need. There are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. We are grown. For the longest time, I wouldn't believe it. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes. Watched them liquefy the dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living. And standing there, facing the pure, horrifying precision, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth. What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
That's it, bruh. You know, it's so much. I think they were saying so much in there. You know, I think that they didn't know, like, I don't think they knew that people was going to hear it. You know what I'm saying? People were just going to enjoy it as a movie, you know? But I hear those words, and those words mean a lot to me, like a lot of that. Like the end part where it's like making it into a battery, because I was reading something a long time ago where they was talking about like other energies that feed off of like people's fear and pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, they live off of that, like they draw energy from it, you know? And and then like vampires, you start talking about vampires and all of that shit. And in that movie Monsters Inc., it was like that. It was like they made it was the screams of the kids. So it's like screams and cries of the children and like the pain of them, you know? Like drawing, really feeding off of it. So that's what I mean by like, and then it's so many other things in that clip. That's just the one little part of it, of what it does to me, what I'm saying.
Well, and just think that, I mean, just looking at it from a, you know, I guess the perspective of the frequency of, because like a fear is a lot much, you know, like the essence of fear, you know, some people you may not actually be able to see it, but a lot of people that's living in fear has, you know, the levels of that frequency is a lot higher than, you know, a regular. So I'm like, I would assume that with it being such a high, you know, like, especially like
wound up.
Yeah, you're being so wound up, the anxiety, all the things that's a, you know, a vibration that's a lot higher than one that is of, even of love. I mean, even though that could be a high frequency and it's shown in a different way, it's just like just think about when they say to smile doesn't take as much energy as it does to frown. So I
Right.
mean, you're expressing way more energy when you're in a sad mood or even anger. You know what I'm
And
saying?
I
So
think that's related to what's happening. I don't want to say much about it, but with what's happening, it's like, everybody is scared of everything. I saw Instagram where it was the chick and she was eating her lunch and she was talking about the pandemic. And one chick was, had her mask on and would like eat a fry, and she was trying to explain why, she should have the jab. And the other chick is just like eating their lunch and just enjoying their lunch. So it's kind of like one person is really in fear and the other one is not, like, enjoying their life. And like I say, like, it's like sucking at you, like leeching on you, like
leeching,
bleeding you.
that is a great way to look at it, is that leeching, because if they're able to benefit from somebody's fear, or just think about a leech sucking blood, like they're living off of your greatest energy,
Your life force.
the whole life force. So, and that's the thing, that any entity that thrives in a moment like that, of course, that is, quote unquote, what we would consider to be evil. But like, what, to me, it's like, once people know something like that, it's get more, if you're more in tune with God or with the universe, to be able to say, hey, I mean, I'm here.
You can shake that off.
Yeah, whatever it is that, I mean,
Yeah.
you just don't let certain things get to you that way, because you know that
But
you're feeding into the problem.
But that's the whole thing with the Matrix. You're asleep, you're not aware. This damn demon is done latched on to you and is manipulating you like a robot. You're completely unaware of it.
Yeah.
You think
And
it's you.
that's the harmful thing. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I guess that worries me. And of course, let's just say, like, our ministers, our pastors are supposed to be more knowledgeable of how to connect with God, and they're somewhat of a pathway to helping you free yourself. And those who are aware, people who do understand and see the matrix, part of our job is to help wake people up and get them to realize that, hey, put them back on the course of where they're not so fearful, and expressing this energy. Hold that energy for yourself, and give yourself a new way of looking at things, so that you're not so stressed out and killing yourself and feeding the demons. You know what I'm saying?
And that clip showed how hard it was to do that, because you saw Neo in the clip. He's like, no, 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 I don't believe it. And like the next frame is him throwing up and being all fucked up about, like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it,
Well, and the thing about that is because he's already at, because this was part 2, right?
No, that's the original. That's the first one.
That's the first one. Okay. Well, I mean, because to me, it's just like people who already know, they've seen some things that lets them know that things are off. I don't know if it's what they consider to be a way of.
But it's just that the truth that they land on, they don't want to accept, because it's kind of like the line of thinking a lot of people have, where certain things are linear and they expect things to go in a linear way and land in a linear conclusion. You know what I mean? And in reality, it'd be like, and then blop. And then where it lands, you're just like, what the fuck? This can't be it. And you're like, I cannot believe this shit.
but the thing, you know, and like I said, I mean, I guess for me, you know, with the consciousness that I do have, not that I know everything. I mean, God never created anything in a straight line. I mean, there's always, you know, like I mean, even our DNA, you know, what you know makes
But
us
it's
who we
like,
are is in curves.
but that's how people think, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Because you be trying to, you always like science, the way the scientific method is set up, and then you're looking for a specific conclusion, basically. You know
When
what
you
I'm
start
saying?
off, when
Your
you start off,
hypothesis.
yeah, you when you start off, you're already in a mindset of what answer you want.
And you're thinking that you're going to get there through a linear way, and that's this type of way of thinking that doesn't really work very well, you know. But that is the dominant way of people thinking. It's, I guess, right brained, or however you want to call it, you know, ethical thinking. So, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, because, you know, there's the yin and the yang, because you know, we know that sometimes it might be in the line, but sometimes it's going to be doing some circles and curves, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So that's the
it's gonna be that's what it's gonna be most of. I mean, you know, you beware if things are just that, you know, get a straight path. I mean, for anybody who, you know, has lived long enough, that's where you start to get scared. Wait a minute, things are getting a little, you know, this
yeah.
is getting too
That's
easy.
when you
Well,
be like, something fishy, something up, something
yeah,
ain't right. That's so real. That's so true, man. And so, but that's what I mean, though. Like, they can't believe it. It's the cognitive dissonance when we try to tell them, you know. But like, so like, if you think about it, like, so like, what if you had proof that we were in a simulation, like somebody, an alien or somebody came to you and was like, hey, you're in a simulation, you're playing a game, and we can't get you to wake up because you won't believe you, because the belief of you believing that the game is real keeps you from being able to unplug from the game. You get what I'm saying?
transcend. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the main thing, and that's I guess that I was kind of fumbling with this as a thought is that, you know, the more you understand about it, the more real. I mean, well, and that's the thing. Like, it's kind of hard to determine because it's real, but fake at the same time. You know, when you look at when you know what I'm saying, you kind of fumble with that
Because the reality is, like, the masses believing it's real makes it real after the fact, even though it's not real. But it's so many people believing it's real, it makes it real. Like money, right? Like the dollar bill. If it wasn't for all of the United States citizens and people around the world, like, faith in the dollar, that shit wouldn't be worth a nickel.
yeah, I mean, that's just like right now, if I go in this store with my old, like, a just a bottle, you know, or some whatever, like a shoe, and I'm like, you know, that'll be $8.26, and I'm like, all right, well, look here, here's my shoe. Like, if that was, you know, that's nowhere near an acceptable transfer of tender, you know, that. So I mean, I'm getting nowhere with it, but you know, if everybody was in there with a shoe, or, you know, whatever this, I'm just.
That's a perfect example, because if everybody accepted shoes all around the world as legal tender, then that would be legal tender, just because everybody accepts it as that.
Yeah. So I think even when it goes back to with gold, like even when we were on the gold standard, um, you know, that's still kind of a weird thing to
I
even
know. I ain't
imagine.
gonna lie. When I started going deep down in economics, that's what they said, and it really blew my fucking mind. because they do use gold a lot for a lot of things, right? Like it goes in like computer chips and shit. Like you use it for, it's very useful. So
Yeah.
and like whatever, if you have like a block of it and the weight of it, that shit can be spread out super thin. You know, like you can make paper with it or something. Like
I mean, they actually making wire with it. Like they have
yeah,
like you can actually make wire with the the gold wire. I mean, all types of different stuff
that's what I'm
they can
saying. It's
do
got
with it.
so many applications. It's hard for me to believe that. But when they told me that, just what you said, they said just what you said, that it's really kind of like the dollar too, in that way, that just because people see it as valuable, that's what gives it its value.
It's all within our mind, and the true that I guess like when you break it down to them consider, because I mean what we're using today is considered currency. Gold at one time was considered real, like this is what money is the gold or silver or something like that.
Yeah, right. They called
But
it something else, huh? Like, I don't know. What was it? They did call it something else. And
the
it was that's why they
currencies,
had to have a purse, and it was all heavy and shit. And they used, but because the nickel was actually made out of nickel, and you could make it into a bullet or something. That's actually useful. The fucking nickel today, what the hell? You probably can't make that into a bullet. I don't think so.
I mean,
It'll be a
well,
shitty bullet.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be quite at the level that you need it at, but whatever's in it now, because there's like some
Yeah, it's
other
all mixed up. Yeah.
yeah, some other material within it that helps give it the weight that it
But
is.
back
Because
in
I
the
mean,
day, the nickel was actually nickel,
yeah,
and the penny was
the same with the
bronze,
silver, the gold. Nah, it was all no. The penny's always been copper, but that's
copper,
a natural. Yeah,
copper. My bad. Yeah,
yeah.
and
So but I think I don't know if I mean, because the only thing I really know of in modern time, or really of any time where they use the bronze is like, with the gold, silver, the bronze, when, Olympic, medals and
yeah.
stuff.
I just randomly said bronze, but we was and but you said silver and all that, like the silver dollar. But I'm just saying that was monetary, like money, because of the materials actually being able to be made into something else or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
well, I mean, I think it was because it was at its pure, it was so pure that, and of course that is, from Earth, like it's a natural element, from Earth, and that's what, at least symbolized value, because like I said, I mean, if, we
If you
started,
got a bunch of quarter or silver dollars and they all made out of silver, if you got the machines, you might be able to make a whole gun out of that shit or something, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you definitely could. But I mean, let's just think if we started trying to use plastic and trying to, because I mean, that's what, took the, because for the longest they've known the different values of these different elements and turning them into coins. And if we just like took all plastic and just made them different sizes, it still doesn't really represent a difference in value, because even though one's a little bit heavier or bigger or whatever, I mean, it's still that same one material. But somehow, they've gotten away with it with the notes, what we consider the dollar. I mean, because you just think the only difference between a $1 bill and a $1,000 bill is what's printed on it.
In God we trust.
Well, not just that. I mean, the number that they put on it, they got a
And
one
then it say
dollar.
federal. But I'm saying besides the number, because the number don't mean shit. I could write that on a piece of paper.
But
But
that's
on
what I'm
there
trying to.
it say
But
Federal Reserve note, and it say in God we trust, and it say United States of America.
but that's but the whole thing about it is all of them are pretty much the same size. Them use the same kind of ink. the the all of the background and all that kind of stuff pretty much is the same.
You can't
So
make
I
that
mean,
shit into shit.
no, I mean there's
Some-
nothing
it's-
that really shows a difference in value other than the number that's printed on the outside of it.
I guess you can make it into some clothes. You can make some shirts and pants and shit out of it. Sew it
Yeah.
together. That's really what it is. It's like
I used to deliver the cotton to the processing plant where they make the money. So all of it's the same. I mean, it's the same cotton, you know,
the same materials.
the same
It
stuff.
ain't worth shit.
I think the main thing, because I think they mixed it with some kind of onion. I don't know. I because I mean it has to be a certain element there for you to be able to write on it and be able to get that certain color or whatever.
They mix it with
I guess
denim. They mix it with denim too. They mix it with the same shit you make jeans out of. That's what gives it that like
that hue,
no, they don't give it the color, but that gives it that like
texture.
Like yeah, because it's hard to rip it kinda or whatever. It has this denim, the shit they make out of denim in there. Ain't nothing fucking it ain't, it's like you said, that shit ain't shit.
No, I mean
it ain't
like
worth
I said,
nothing.
it costs the same
But that-
amount of money. It
but that-
costs
the
them the
point-
same amount of money to print any bill that you want, 10s, 20s, 50s.
But that goes back to what we were saying about the simulation, because that's another thing that's not real. Like, how many things in the world that are huge and big really have a lot of impact over our life that's not even real at all? Like TV, you know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know. Like, there's so many things that's not real that we are completely caught up in.
Yeah, we got a lot of stake in. Because I mean, for some people to have this conversation about the money, you know, like they'll run away from it because it's too, you know, it's the acceptance, you know, like having to accept that this is this and this is that, like that really bothers people. They have to think about it too much, and you know, I think for some people, I think it's safer for us as a whole for them not to really understand it that way, because you know it'll be a lot of what's the right term for it?
Children blowing themselves up.
Mayhem, or
Yes.
like
Chaos.
Chaos. That's a good one. Yeah, that's
Anarchy.
that's the one. That's the one I was looking for, man.
Freaking the that's why I say all the time, like when I'm in crowds, man, I get scared, bro. Like I feel like they're just gonna turn on me at any minute, man. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of a loner a bit, you know. I'm scared because I'm gonna say something that these niggas cannot handle, and the whole room gonna turn on me.
I'm the type of person that likes to be able to control my you know, atmosphere, you know, places I'm in and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm quick to be like, nope, not going there. You know, I mean, I would love to be able to, you know, go to concerts and like crowded places and truly feel comfortable. Like I've you know, even like when the rodeo comes, like I try to go on a time when it's not overly crowded, because it's like, you know,
Too many people.
It's so many people there, and if anything crazy happens, I mean, I am a protector. So it's like, you know, you know, I try to be where I can, you know,
Yeah,
I can
so
try to
it's
protect
all
you.
on you. Men around the world know what you're saying when you say that. And you know, every time I go to the rodeo, I run into somebody I haven't seen in forever, because like you say, it's just too many motherfucking people. And yes, like I said, before Corona, I avoided large crowds.
Yeah, no, this is not a new thing. I mean, this has been since, you know, like teenage years, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah, I, you know, hang out with my boys and stuff. you know, 5, 6 or so of us, you know, that might make me feel a little more calmer. But at the same time, just being around, you know, I'm not stuck like glued to all my partners. We hanging out here, there, whatever. You know, we kind of doing our thing. So it's like, you know, we still in an area where, you know, shit can pop off, or, you know, anything can happen. So and you know, of course, you know, we all men, so not looking truly to protect them, but you know, you still looking out for the well-being of, you know, people around you. And I'm the type, I'll sit, I'm the one that's kind of sitting still observing everything. You
Me
know what I'm
too.
saying?
Quiet as
So
hell.
yeah.
That's why they look at me and be like, "You quiet, man." I'll be nervous, like I say, because I don't never know when the whole situation might turn on me. So I'm taking in as much information as I can from the time I walk through the door, gathering information. I might be
Yeah.
asking questions. I'm not gonna be doing a bunch of talking.
Yeah, because I mean, if I mean, you just you know, and I guess over time, I guess I kind of, you know, I realize, like, you know, you look for certain things. I mean, you know, you see a guy with, you know, a girl, like, okay, yeah, he in this state of mind. You see a group of guys, you kind of like, all right, I got to keep an eye on these guys, because, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, as you scan different, you know, so, okay, well, got security over here, you know, it's got, you know, this, that, and the other. Like, I mean, like almost like a fucking bank robber casing out the
I'm
place. You
telling
know what
you,
I'm
exit door here, exit door here. If the doors are blocked, I got a window over there, or I might have to go upstairs. I saw from the outside they had a window up front with a canopy. I could probably jump off that window and land on that canopy if I really need to.
saying? Yeah, these tables can be thrown. These tables are fixed. They're not going nowhere. You
All of
know,
that.
or what? You know what I'm saying? All kind of things, man. Like I see it
What can I
all.
use
You know,
for a weapon? I see lots of weapons around things that I can use as weapons.
look. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna sip on this beer. Look, I can only afford to get me maybe 3 beers tonight, so I'm gonna slow, you know, pace it out. So I always have a beer bottle in my hand just in case, you know, need to bop somebody. You know what I'm
Ready.
saying?
I already
Just
know. That's same way I be thinking all the time. All the time. I'm always ready, bro. Always ready. Fucking so, but that's what I'm saying though about the simulation though. Like the thing is, like we ask the name of the thing is this a simulation? Like that's the question. That's the question of the day. So what's your answer to that?
but well, I'm gonna give it to you in a minute, because this is another thought to add on to what I was just saying, was because even like a video game, having that thoughts process, you know, when you know, you leveling up, like you know what I'm saying, you can get this gun, you can get, you know, this baseball bat, like different games, you know, just itemizing the different things that you see in this place that's usable for whatever situation is kind of the same way when you starting out in a video game. So I mean, if you have that thought process where, you know, you're itemizing, you know, you have your you know, what's the, trying to think of the term they use for it in the games, but like you have a list of things that you can switch to and from depending on, you know, what wasn't really needed for that part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the same thing. So I'm just looking at it like, I mean, these are more animate things that we're seeing here, like, as you know, in real life, what we consider real life, you know, is pretty much the same. Because I mean, GTA is one of those things where you really kind of get to. It's probably been other games even before that, but you know, if you lived
That
in a
that one is the one I would say, because I always compare it to that, because I don't know, that one had the feel, because the way the game was, you could just do whatever you wanted to in the game, or you could do the missions, you know, or you could just go rob banks, or you could just go mess with prostitutes, like whatever you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? In that game, you could do it. Just drive around. The cars were cool. You could listen to the radio and just drive around the city if you wanted to, because the cars were cool.
Yeah, and I think the closest way to describe it is a simulation, because maybe there's a different way to, because I mean, in a simulation, you know that you're controlling it from from the outside. But when you're on the inside of the game, you're being controlled. So is it really considered a simulation for us? At some level of it,
Are we controlling the game? That's the question then, right? Are we the ones on the controller, or are we just like Sims players inside of somebody else's game?
It's I would say it's like a way of, because we do, to an extent, because we got to a point, I guess, in the game where what decisions we make as a character, like we're self players, like, we can't control every part of the game, or but we can control the part that we're in. So I would say, yeah, because I mean, even like because my answer is yes, it is a simulation, if that's the best way we could describe it. But because, like I said, by us being all connected to the one brain, the motherboard, the system, the moves that we make built on how we think is what I guess would make us the actual player. But because there's 8 billion, 9 billion other players within the same system, there's still hierarchy in it, because there's people who can do things to make that part of the game change for you. You know what I'm saying?
Like maybe these people are like computer hackers or computer programmers, people who know how to do code, and they're playing the game too, and they can change the code of the game while they're playing it.
Yeah, and I mean, they affect the different things that people go through, because I mean, it's easier to affect some more than others. But even though, like, they do have a brain hack where they figured out how to
that's like Inception.
Put you into a certain trying to think of a good way to explain it, because like I'm visual, I can see it. I'm just trying to express it properly. Giving you a certain limiting your possibilities of things that you can do, what decisions, limiting or even making available certain things that you can
that sounds like America.
No, that's the world. That's Earth.
The whole world.
That's this planet. Yeah. So I mean, like, they're making things limited now. I don't know if you saw, like, I saw this video where, like, the U.S. is sending farmers. Now I don't know if there was some areas that got affected some kind of way where the crops just wasn't any good, but they're having farmers chopping down, in certain districts, chopping down their.
They've been doing that forever, man. That's related to the Monsanto Bayer shit, man. They got the agriculture industrial complex, bro. If anything is the devil, man, like, that's some demonic shit they're doing. It's a lot to that. I mean, I'm it's scary to talk about that. It's scary to talk about that, but because they fuck with the food in a whole bunch of ways, and it's just the way that they make the food in big amounts of one crop and stuff like that. It might be more profitable. It's all about profit, so it might be more profitable to just destroy the crops. So that's what be happening. Like,
but just think about the people, because there's some people who's like really set themselves up to really be off the grid. Like they can drive off, you know what I'm saying? Like on GTA, like you can totally be in a whole nother section where nothing that's a part of the, your goal. Yeah, like what the goal that's set for you.
Right.
They're totally off grid where the Matrix doesn't even really doesn't affect them, other than the fact that, okay, somebody, finds out where you are. Yeah, they could come and interrupt what you're doing. But I mean, that's like my dad, like 25 years ago. Oh, nah, I don't want to be dealing with all this city life, this, that, and the other. And, it's got 10 acres,
that's nice.
Living out in the country 2 miles off the highway. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like he's out there. But however,
well, I got two things to that. One is you're still in the Matrix though.
Well, you're still in it, yeah, but yeah, you set yourself so far away from the game that it takes the possibilities of being impacted, right away. You know what I'm saying? It's growing his own food. You know what I'm saying?
I would love it. I would love it. But I would say it's not for everybody. That's the second thing is like, the other thing is like trying to be like outside of the Matrix. Now because everybody else is in the Matrix now, it's like, how do you interact? Like, what do? You're going to have to not have people. Like, you're going to have a life with no people.
Well, I mean, at his age, and I mean, he's lived through a lot of stuff already. So it's kind of like him stepping outside of that is no big deal. And they do have the option to step in and out as they please, because I mean, he's got his rental property that he goes and checks on and, does the yard and this, that, and the other. So, I mean, he still comes into the Matrix, but at the same time, when he's done with it, he can go back to the country. And
that sounds nice to me, because like I say, I spent a good amount of time out in the country. Just the air, being able to breathe better. I guess so many differences.
Yeah, man. Like I think they really are trying to affect us in many ways. Because I mean, about all the trees and stuff that they're cutting down and burning down in South America, the Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think we might have touched on that a little bit.
Bolsonaro and in Brazil and yeah, so like what else? Is it Colombia? I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's the northeastern part of South America. That's where like the hugest forests. And they've been just cutting in that. And there's people living there too. It's tribes that live in there, native peoples that never been seen, because these forests are uninhabited. So, but the thing is, you got these loggers or whatever company is doing it. They come across some undiscovered people. They just kill them because there's no recourse. How do you know? It was some people they never see. Nobody knows about. That's what's happening. And so, that's who's pushing back a lot. It's like the native peoples are pushing back a lot about them. But the politics is so shitty. They're so racist. It's mostly a black people, but the white people run the country. You see Bolsonaro, he's a light-skinned dude, and he don't like dark-skinned people. Like, they are very, very racist, and that's a big part of it. Like, and they just destroy the environment. It's kind of like over here in the United States, like here we live in Texas, like it's those super right-wing conservatives that don't care, at all about the environment and just want to extort and exploit.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm wondering at some point, will they try to take down or extinguish the people of that North Sentinel Island? It's
Well,
in
they
the
have like
Indian Ocean.
it's a designation of nature reserve, some shit like that. You get in trouble, like they have real strict ass laws related to going over there. They got lots of places like that. They don't have enough of that though, but they have places like that, and they have real ass military niggas with big ass fucking AK-47s who gonna be on your ass if you starting to get close to over there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I saw in the news recently that's freaking interesting to me? They were talking about pirates. I was looking for a video, or maybe I just got lazy, but that's what I was gonna do. It was pirates off the coast of Africa, western coast of Africa, and they just like these big ass container ships, and they have these little speedboats, but they have fucking guns. And then so they'll board the ship and kill like the captain or whatever, and then they kidnap people and hold them for ransom or loot the ship for whatever. Yeah, so I thought that was crazy. I was thinking about pirates, and I was like, it's like pirates ain't never went away. Like we be talking about pirates like it's some old thing, but they got some real life ass shit happening right now.
Well, no, I mean, when you look at it as what it really, like even back then, what it really was, okay, now there was some pirates that, worked the seas for, just to keep an eye, kind of like what the Navy kind of does, is to, people making sure that the king gets his share of whatever. Like, okay, they checking to see what kind of stuff they're moving or whatever. But then at the same time, I mean, times like this where, there's countries like, in Africa for sure, that's starving. So they're like, okay, well, they're still sending out our resources to
And that's
other
exactly
countries when we can use it.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Poor people with guns, and they just fucking like these niggas got these big ass ships. That shit they probably stole from Africa. Fuck that shit. And they willing to die because the niggas on the ships be having guns too. But those boats move off fast, zip, 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 and then they up on the ship.
Yep. So I mean, I think that's probably more of what it is. It's like during times like this where, the politicals, the high ups are still, sending out resources to make money for themselves, because the people don't really get it, as much as they really need. So they're still making, these, governments, kings, whatever, if there's kings, might still be sending stuff out, exporting, trying to make money, and it's like, nah, we need this here. So they going to get it and bring it back home to their people. So I mean, that's kind of how I would see it now. So I mean, pirating has never stopped. It may have had a different look, because I mean that's the same thing what our Navy has done, is they just legal pirates.
If you think about it, any military really, any military that's got ships with guns on them. But it's super interesting to me because me as the academic, I like to study what causes things to happen linearly. But anyways, what happened was like the Dutch moving company or whatever. Those out there who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. And then it was like the British moving company or whatever the fuck. And they because like different countries, like China wasn't worried about that because they had their own trade going on, and they figured, and then they built the wall. So they like, man, whatever, y'all niggas do whatever. But it was like the English built up those ships that they had, like military ships, because they figured they had, I want to say it was the first ones with cannons on their shit and shit like that. So they had the best armed ships. And so, but these niggas was pirates. But what happened is different countries would hire them to move their goods, right? Because they got big ass guns on the ship. Can't nobody come steal their shit. You know what I'm saying? We finna bust a cap in your ass. And then the people knew because they had groups of ships. They that's how they did it. You know what I'm saying? It would whenever they was moving something, it would be groups of ships. So if somebody came, you got multiple ships on your ass. They all, maybe not all of them was armed, but most of them was armed. You know, the ship itself had cannons or whatever. And so that's how they dominated the sea. And that's a lot how it led into the slave trade, because I be talking about, we said human trafficking, because before that, you know, it was pirating whatever was valuable. It was gold or whatever the hell, I don't know, whiskey, whatever it was.
Yeah, that was probably made on this side of the Western Hemisphere, stuff like that. I mean, they make liquor everywhere. I mean, but
and that's what I'm saying. So they was moving shit, and they dominated that, and that's kind of what led to like the European powers being what they are. Because we're talking about pirates, and we're talking about militaries and ships, navies. That's the reason why for the longest Britain couldn't be conquered. They had them damn navy ships, you know what I'm saying, that was badass, and couldn't nobody get through them to get to the island.
But that was more during the time of the Moors, and that's one of the things I think that ended up being their downfall, because I mean there was a shift in power because Britain was able to keep it based on you know what was already set up. But you know, the Moors being able to you know, they had dominated the seas for who knows how long, but during their fall in Europe,
they didn't have the weapons on their ships though. Like that was the difference. I think that a lot of people don't realize the black people was moving around the whole earth a long ass time ago. They don't want to, even in my academics, they don't want to give that credence, but it's clearly there evidence. They trying to say that niggas didn't have ships. Maybe the ships were smaller or something, but they could move all over. No. They had seafaring ships. They kept saying that black people only had ships that could go short distances. They couldn't go long distances over the ocean.
Well, that becomes technical too, because you know, even though we're the same people, black people, if you look at the definition of black people hadn't really had enough power to really do any of that. But the Moors, which we're the you know, a lot of us are, you know, ancestors of.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
That's a so I mean, when they're saying it,
important
they're not
distinction.
really lying. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. When you look at it like that, I get it. But I don't, you know, I get that. So I guess it's the language we have. That's one of the things we probably need to educate ourselves or educate each other about, like using the word in the proper way, right? Well, because the legal terms is what designate us as, like my cousin was talking about the terms of like dead, like you designate yourself dead or whatever with your straw man or whatever, like you're not alive or something like that, and that's one of the reasons why they don't have to give you rights.
Civil litter mortuus is what that's called. You're civilly dead. So I mean, you really exist as a natural person, but as far as, you know, government, they do not recognize you as a natural person in law because of the way that they denationalized us. So when they create the birth certificate, you know, birth being coming through that canal, whether it's BIRTH or BERTH, those two, because of because of the way they have it set up in law, using maritime law, they're using those same two ways of looking at birth to, because your mother birthed you, but at the same time, there's still somehow they have it set up where we got lost at sea, and until we recognize our we've lost we're lost at sea. So when we come and acknowledge ourselves as the living natural person, that's when we can actually have our true rights and having human rights. So I mean, it's a lot to it, and why they don't, things happen to us the way they do, because we have to realize we're waking up. A lot of people are waking up, but they're not actually, a lot of people understand it and can speak it and talk it, but a lot of them haven't made the action necessary to change it. And it's definitely not happening fast enough in law, where they have to recognize you as a natural living person. So, but anyhow, it was a point that I was wanting to make. All right, we'll just continue. It'll come to me later.
Yeah, just continue down this. I think a lot of people are really interested in this stuff, because like I be just listening to y'all, because I mean, I want to get more into the law. I haven't read the law.
Oh, I know what it was. Because you were saying, like, as far as us really getting into the meaning, the reason why that they say that, usually they say the black boys can't read past second grade level or fourth grade level, is because, I mean, most of us, think reading is being able to say words, and if you don't know the difference between the connotative and the denotative aspect of words, because just like me, it's like, yeah, my black man, this, we using certain terminologies, but if we don't go to the root of the word, the actual origin of the word, and understanding what parts of speech that we're using, that signifies somebody who doesn't really understand. Like, there's no real comprehension. So that's why we are marked as not knowing how to read, or if we do read, we don't understand fully understand it to the fullest extent. So studying with a dictionary and all that stuff has become almost unexistent. So that's why we get labeled as not being able to read.
I get it, because it's like it's so like, okay, so reading, like, and then like have a reading, like maybe go to one of those spiritual people and they read you, or if someone is reading your mind, what was I gonna say? Blessed, one of the things, because see, I've studied some of the words roots, but it's always been on like the spiritual like side, like religious kind of side, not on the law side as much. So like blessed, that means to bleed. That's what that really means. And then like when they be like moving their wand, it's like doing it like that. That's with a sword, that would be killing you. That's killing you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And to be blessed, that's what they meant. I blessed you. I made you bleed. I bled you out.
Yeah.
Just killed you.
Mm-hmm. Because it's different. Like, they're saying, like, when you knight somebody, they do the ceremony where they put the blade on one side and blade on the other. But at the same time, that's pretty much kind of let you know, if you don't hold to the
right, your head's gonna be
chopped
taken
off.
up.
Yeah, I'm gonna come from here to here with that blade. What I'm saying? I'm
And
gonna come
that's
from one shoulder.
exactly
I'm gonna
it.
come from. I'm
So,
gonna come from one shoulder to the other. If you're not loyal to
exactly.
the,
But that motion like this one, that's like, I'm gonna make sure you did. This big ass sword, the first one should have killed you. The second one is to make sure.
yeah,
That's that double tap.
yeah, yeah. I've
And
heard. Yeah, I've heard that about bless because of somebody's like it's better to use blessings instead of giving somebody your blessings to give them blessings because that's just a kind of a different
bliss
way.
sounds better because that the meaning of bliss is like happiness.
Yeah.
So that's much better. So that's the thing. We're making these spells, we casting spells on each other, saying these words
Every
that
time you
have
say
meaning.
God bless you, may God bless you. What are you saying? May God kill you or destroy you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, we don't really understand all these words the way we think we do because we're using them in a connotative way, you know, or either just we've, you know, come accustomed to using certain words in a certain way that when you really get to the understanding of it, we probably wouldn't use those words. That's
And
probably
that's
a
why
better. There's probably a better way to express what you're actually trying to say.
That's why we need to educate. That's why we need education so that these people can know what these words really mean. Because it's a lot of words like that. And I say a lot of things different and I'm weird and I laugh it off and make jokes to because it'd be awkward. But I have a reason why I don't say certain things or I say things in a way that I say them when I'm like greeting people or things that I'm doing, you know? And like after like I put a post on my Instagram about the handshakes and I was like, thank God for Corona for getting rid of them fake ass handshakes because I ain't never.
Yeah, man. Um, and I guess you know what I'm saying the handshake thing, you know, because I mean I've always kind of been like a, you know, give the, you
Yeah,
know,
the
get a
bump.
pound or something like that. But you know, I mean when it's somebody, you know, usually it's kind of like the whole, you know, you grab the hand, you pull them close, kind of half hug, and you know, some people it's just feels weird, you know what I'm saying, doing that, you know, because it's like okay, you know. Uh, you do it because you know society has made you kind of do it, or you know, I say society, but I guess culture. It's more closer to the culture that you know that's the thing that we do. But does
I
really
hate it. I
who
hate that
really
we blindly
does everybody
follow
deserve that?
tradition.
Yeah, I mean, does everybody really deserve that type of greeting?
Yeah.
You know.
And I think it's European. The handshake is European, and it's like because we don't, as our culture, we don't like to touch other people's hands like that unless it's someone that we, you know, care about or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or have a pretty much intimate relationship, close friend, because it's the hand to hand thing is kind of dirty. You know, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. And
Well,
then
and
you know,
I'm sorry, no, because I mean, I guess the thought that I'm having is that because I've always admired the Asians, more specifically like the Chinese, you know, I guess the Japanese, because you know, I think the Japanese is probably where it mainly came from, but you know, the head, you know, giving the nod, you know, or
I think that's what it is. It goes back. I think the nod came from us. You know, they migrated from Africa. They like, you know, earlier migrations out of Africa. So, but that's what it is. That nod is what it is. That's what it is. The nod is kind of like a
because I mean,
bow
we kind of do it at you know, like we see somebody, we
already,
connect eyes,
naturally.
and just kind of what's you know what's
It's
that, you know?
acknowledging that you're another human. You
Yeah.
know, it's bowing to humanity, like having respect for humanity. Basically, is what that
Well,
is.
but it's even like it even goes deeper, because I mean, when you said the cleanliness thing, it's like you know, because it's like certain you're not supposed to wipe your ass with your right hand, and like you use the bathroom, and
Exactly.
but some people probably do, and you don't know if they do or not,
All
and
kinds of what the hell else they doing? We don't know.
you're passing on you're passing on different energies, because I mean
That's it.
every time you're exchanging energies that you probably
That
don't
is
want.
it. That is it right there, because that is it exactly. Because how do you know that person, you can't tell from looking at them that they are energy vampire, and when they touch your hand, they're going to start sucking your freaking spirit out of you, your energy from you. You don't know. So that's another reason why I don't like to touch. I don't touch
the
people very
average
much.
the average man or woman don't know if they have that kind of spirit on them, because it's just kind of like you get so used to carrying certain things with you that that's just like I was discussing with somebody maybe a couple days ago, that just the way you eat, like people who uh have been eating pork for as long as they don't know, like they can't feel the difference of not having it in their system. Like they already, they feel like they're
Coming out
healthy.
their pores. It's
Yeah, they
coming out
feel
their pores, and they
yeah,
sweat.
to themselves they feel like they're healthy, but then to others it's kind of like, you can kind of feel it or sense it, or you know, but that's kind of the same thing when it's transferred to, your contact with other people, is that these spirits, these,
Rubbing all kinds of
demon,
shit off on you. And not
yeah.
even just spirits, just poop. Like you said, it could be so many
Well,
things.
but
Corona.
that's a whole nother entity. That's a whole nother type of spirit. You defecation, like, I mean,
It could be semen.
and look, me being at being in these truck stops, because I mean, for the most part, I would say there's a lot of, clean truck drivers, but then there's those that you went in, when you coming in, you see them coming straight out of a stall, and the sinks are there, but they didn't see them.
Don't need that. I don't even know why they put these sinks in here. Dumbasses.
What the fuck this for? Like
wash your hands. What for?
Yes, I'm only going to eat. Like I'm only gonna go pick up other shit out of the store.
Come on, stop. I know. Touch the shit all through the store, probably. I don't want this.
Nah, I don't want that. Let me go put it back.
Nasty mother.
Yeah, bro.
That's again though, but that's the thing though. Like shaking their hands, I never liked it, and it's like like the energy transfer. That's part of the reason why I never liked it. And then it's like sometimes it's like a submissive thing too, like a domination thing, like you know what I'm saying, with the people squeezing their hand and where they put their thumb at. That's why I say that's all that European. That's European. It's all about domination, submit, kiss the ring type shit. And then another thing that they do is they come and they, as a friend, like you don't know them, like I don't know you, and then they come and they shake your hand, they look at you in the eye, and then they finna tell you some damn lie and sell you some bullshit.
Yeah, well, I don't, I think, because I think it differs, because I think it is a mindset, because, a lot of people who feel dominant over you, they don't want to touch you.
I don't know about that. I think the touching is a show of dominance. It's like how you pet your dog, and like people be wanting to touch people's hair and stuff. And somebody came up behind you and just did like that and pet your head. If it wasn't your kid or your wife or something,
I'm
have a problem
feel
with that person.
No, and I'm gonna tell you, I got a friend of mine. I mean, he don't play that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he don't play that shit at all. Don't touch my head. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know, like, don't touch my head. Like, he ready to fucking fight.
I'm
You know what I'm
telling
saying?
you, it's disrespectful, man. It
Yeah.
is.
I mean, you know, me being a big guy, I've never really had to deal with, you know,
They'd have to
shit.
reach up.
Well, I mean, even reaching, I mean, people my own, you know,
But it's
size.
the
I mean,
shoulder. Sometimes it's the shoulder pad too. It's just like that. It's how you do your dog, you know?
oh, now, you see, you know, I'll turn around, I'll look at the motherfucker, you know, somebody trying, you know, was trying to get my attention. It was like, you couldn't speak. Like, you know, I can hear, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can talk to me because, yeah, I've gotten an attitude with somebody, you know, pat me on my shoulder, not because I thought of it, but it was just a natural, like, reaction, like, what the, you know what I'm saying?
All this extra touching.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
All this
And, you know,
unnecessary touching.
since I was a kid, I've been kind of like a germaphobe. Like, you know, me
I
when I
think
got a
we're
teenager,
naturally like that
me getting into
as
a
people of
teenager and
color.
kissing. Yeah, go ahead.
As people of color, I think we're naturally like that, and that's why we don't really. I don't think we. That's why I don't think the shaking hands thing. It couldn't have been. It had to have been a part of colonization. That's not our thing. We don't like that shit.
Yeah.
We'll hug you before we'll shake your hand.
Well, and I think that too came about with because I mean, you know, that's a way of agreement too. So I mean, you know, you can have a whole business deal bound by a handshake. So I
Yeah,
think a
but
lot.
where did that come from? I think that's
That's
colonization.
that's a good question. Like I really I don't know that part,
I
but
would
you know,
we'd have to dig, but that's what I think. That's what I think it came from. I don't think people was doing that before. I think the Europeans came over with that handshake and shit, and that shit caught on, and now it's like worldwide.
well, and the reason why I mean I guess I'm hesitant on even really saying that is because like most people look that and say that, like they created nothing. You know, like
That's
you know,
true. But they colonize and they like to change people's culture and change their
well,
names and their language
colonization didn't just happen with just white people. Like I mean, we give a
all
lot of
around the
credit,
world.
but
Everybody.
you know they had a to for it to begin. It started with people allowing them to do it. So it wasn't where they just end up, you know, started out with all of this power. You know, it the transfer of them having the power didn't just happen that way. I mean, everybody else on the planet ain't just bitches.
Right.
You know what I'm
Because
saying?
but but the example I make, like I say, if the dude is gonna rape his son and that's the competition, he gonna win. So like that's what I mean. Like the stuff that they do be so horrible, like Nagasaki and Hiroshima, like for no reason, bro. Like super extra. That's that shit that make people be like, bro, you win, you win.
Well,
You
no,
win,
but
bro.
I mean, there was a reason. I mean, that was a part of their them being able to like okay at that time during the Vietnam was that yeah,
That's no, that's World War II. That's the end
that's
of World War
Japan.
II.
That's Japan. Yeah, when they
Yeah.
went into Japan, Japan were like look a lot of them, the majority of them look like us during that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So they they were in the position to be able to take over the whole uh industrial revolution time. You know, like they were able to be in a position where they could actually lead the world in steel production and all this and that. So the reason they went in there was to be able to destabilize them from being able to become that power and allow another Asian friend or ally to the West, which we're gonna say
China.
is yeah, it was China. So U.S., Germany.
But after time, it was China, because at that time, I don't know, the U.S.
No,
was
it
in
was
China.
it
Yeah.
was China. That's who they allowed in that region to be able to be in control of it, so that it would be an ally. Japan at that
Japan
time,
didn't like China. They didn't get along. Yeah.
they didn't like China, but they didn't like the U.S. like that either. So
Right.
instead of them because the world would have seen different rates, prices on certain things that they definitely needed.
A lot of
Because
people don't know that. That's so true, because that's what's happening now. They still do that to this day, because see, they got embargoes on Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, any country that they don't like, really. They shut down their trade. Not only will they not trade with them, they'll keep them from being able to trade with anybody else, because they'll have ships out there. As soon as they try to go to this island, either to bring something or to take something, they like, nah, you can't go through here. Fuck that.
yeah,
Go back.
and that's another reason for their pirates, because they got some people who would still trade with other countries and to make sure that they keep their power. Because let's just say if it was Japan and they made a deal with some countries in South America instead of North America, where they want to keep the power. If they did that and South America start coming up and doing different things based on the trade that they're making with some other country, see that's the whole reason for keeping these certain countries in the Central and South America down, because North America wants to keep their position. I was watching
Right.
It wasn't C-SPAN, but it was they was it was some shit that was going on in Congress where what's his name? What's the dude from Texas?
Abbott?
No, the congressman.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was in there and blocking all kind of shit because of one
That's what he
thing
do.
because of what he wanted the president to do. Is like, the president because they had a fight when Trump was in office. Now he said he had the same stance even then when Trump was in office, another Republican, but now, Biden was trying to lift some of the they had a natural gas pipeline that they were trying to finish in Russia. And it's like, this would be like a $500 billion gift that they would be giving Russia, which would, destroy certain things here in America. So it's just like, I could kind of see what he was saying, but there was other things that, we probably could use now, or that, that helps with the defense of the United States and its things that they have have investments in. But just going through that all right, well, I forgot my original thought now, because I done got caught up on trying to figure out how to express it. But however, tell me, where did I begin so I can catch up with myself?
Well, we was talking about Japan, and what I was gonna say was World War II. If you go back and look at World War II, it'll really set up because that's how we started this conversation when we talk about Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Well,
but I mentioned them because if you really want to understand the state of the world today, just go, and stuff keep on popping up. It's so much information. You know what I didn't realize, even though I studied this shit, that the storm in Normandy, the Saving Private Ryan, all that shit, taking the beach, Berlin, how they big that shit up, like in the big scheme of the war, that shit didn't even matter. It didn't even matter The Russians was beating their ass on the Western Front, beating Germany's ass, and I think you can give some other countries some credit, but the U.S. makes it look like they won the war or whatever, but that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. It was really the Russians who beat Germany.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, the story is going to be told from different points of view because somebody here thought that based on a decision they made or something they did is what changed it, and so does people over in Russia, and so does people who was in England or whatever. Like a
No,
lot
but
of
this is like the actual facts. It's just that we have been, we live in America and they like America. So every story of history always says we won the war. Like Vietnam, they say we won Vietnam. That's what the history books say.
But we really didn't.
Exactly. And we didn't win World War II either.
No. I mean, I guess depending on how they're looking at it on, because I mean, as far as the people, we
was on the right side. We was on the right side. We picked the right side. That's what we did. If you want to call that, we picked the right team.
Well,
we was on the winning team.
I don't see, but see that the thing is, because I mean, the reason why I say the point of view, because I mean, depending on from what angle you're looking at or looking from, maybe we were on the bad team because, like I mean, if there was somebody, us getting involved, us getting involved in something that could have been a fight, let's let these people over here battle it out, and by us not really taking a stance in certain things, because if we start out with somebody we want to see win, like when the Saints play whoever, I'm looking for the Saints to win. So and I'm biased. So when it comes to something where, look, this could be a win either way if I stay out of it, let them have their little battle, and then I can negotiate with whomever wins out of this, out of that fight. It really kind of depends on how you look at it, because I mean, somebody who's has become known for being the bully of the planet, look where we are now.
But that's why I say
that's based.
That's why I say you have to look at World War II to understand this shit. And
yeah, I mean, short term, it may have looked like a win, but long term, I can't necessarily say it really was, because of as time goes on, the effects, those same effects, the same things that happened during that time, was the 40s or whatever. I mean, shit, because I mean, some people say that whole thing began from the Battle of New Orleans, from the Japan dropping bombs on New Orleans, or whatever, missiles or whatever. So but come to understand, that was faked. So all of this, what I'm saying, like the perception of how, I mean, they're not just looking at just these leaders. They're, a lot of our actions are supposed to be based on, the way our government is set up is the people. So they're supposed to be acting out of what the people want. So if we're allowing them and backing them and giving them the support, like, yeah, keep going, yeah, don't stop until we win, type of thing, based on lies that they're telling us in the media, the world is still looking at it from what they saw happen from their point of view.
And that's so fucked up. That's the illusion. There goes the Matrix again. And there's a lot of ways you can look at this too, because the other parts of the world looks at World War I and World War II as a European civil war. And if you think about it, that's really what it was. But it was like the people fighting over who's going to rule the world type shit, you know? And do they rule the world really? That's a good question. And then you go back to like the Berlin Conference and how they chopped up Africa and created the different countries that we have in with the names that they are. That's what's so crazy about colonization, because when they change these names, they change the names of the mountains, they change the names of the rivers, they create these damn artificial countries is what they call them, and then they write these borders, and you know, it's so crazy to me, like especially how they changed the names. Like the country's name was this, what's that song? Istanbul, na Constantinople, na Istanbul, na Constantinople. It's Istanbul, not Constantinople. You know what I'm talking about?
That's a song?
Yeah. I'm crazy. Hopefully somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. Anyways,
I never heard that.
Country is it was a song to remind you, the people, what the new name of the country was. And that's how they do you. And like how we do the national anthem and how we do the Pledge of Allegiance.
What about the from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli? You know, that was the U.S. talking down about the takeover of the Moorish Empire from Mexico all the way over into Europe and into North Africa. That's Montezuma. A lot of people don't know Montezuma was a black man. He was the emperor of the Southern Empire. A black man, a Moor. However you want to distinguish it.
I ain't know that was the lyrics to that song though. I be trying to blot all that fucking shit out of my head. I swear to God.
Well, a lot of it is significant because I mean, just like you know, the lyrics mean stuff. You know, it's supposed to mean stuff in you know.
Yeah. It's just that I spent a lot of time like decolonizing myself or trying to anyways. And a lot of that shit that I know was brainwashing for sure. Like I don't want to fucking hear that shit or even read it.
Well, yeah, it was you know, cause and that's the thing. As a kid, when I sang that, I was, you know, just as proud as everybody else, you know, thinking, you know, this how, you know, my perception of the country and the standpoint, like even when it comes down to the Pledge of Allegiance and all this other kind of stuff that we were programmed to, you know, love and I guess protect or whatever. Like it's just once you do have that another perspective of it, you still somewhat appreciate it because it helps you really learn where you know what was happening there. I mean, because those are things that was caught up in time that allows you to see, okay, this is what was happening. This was the mindset of the people that was, you know, pretty much, you know, what they considered taking over. Because even then, even though they didn't have full control, that's what their plan was. And looking back at it, you can see that that's what it was. Like, I mean, the whole different stories, the George Washington chopping down his father's cherry tree. He wasn't talking about his literal father. He was talking about, you know, the people who preceded him in this country. You know, this is, you know, this same land He's saying that pretty much where he got his chance at his start at, that was, what.
That's that shit I hate. They celebrate destruction. And it's like what I be saying is if they made a statue of you, most 9 times out of 10, you did some super, super horrible fucking shit. Because that's the kind of shit that they fucking like worship or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then they train us to do it. And then those people become our heroes. And these are some horrible ass people. Or they were.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, that's a part of what it takes for us to really get the depths of what was really happening. Because yeah, I mean, as a kid, I mean, we can't blame ourselves of what we don't know. Now as adults, we do know. I mean, for us to sit around and this conversation is cool, but I mean, we still need to be making steps that make a difference for the future. We don't want our kids to have to, fight the same battles, like look past these little battles that we could.
Yeah, so I teach them to think for themselves, So if anything, my kids, they know how to think. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main thing I teach them.
Yeah, getting a certain level of understanding at an early age, I think, too early can confuse them, but at the same time, I mean, there's certain things that, 'cause I mean, that's just like, me being able to look back at these same songs and like until like, shoot, what, 5 years ago or however long ago, like even though I knew, like I heard how, racist the Pledge of Allegiance was, or the it's not the Pledge of Allegiance, the what's
national anthem.
The national anthem. Yeah, the how racist it was. I'd heard about it, but then there's things that's just like, wait a minute, we really accepting this? This is how we're gonna do things. We know how bad this is for not just us, but even like, because I mean, I really believe like these days, even white people are not as caught up on these things. Maybe still a few that's hang on to some of that stuff, but a lot of them is just like, damn, they didn't even realize that that's how how sick that reflects on the country itself. This is the national anthem. This reflects this country and what it stood for, and still standing, or is still being represented by in this national anthem. And a lot of them ain't really for it either. You know what I'm saying? But I guess while we here, we need to serve the purpose that we're here for, so that these things can be changed and we can actually have the country that we all really want to be able to exist in.
I think that's a good way to end it, kind of wrap it, wrap the idea. We all have to live here, at the end of the day. And so we got to find some way to coexist with each other. And I think respecting humans, human life, is a basic thing. And I think that we all need to at least strive to that, because that's for everybody. Because Black people have that same kind of attitude of not really respecting human life, and that's kind of like what the racism is. It's like less than human life, not as valuable as me. And if we look at each other as humans and we respect human life, then every human life deserves respect, as a human. Period.
Yeah. And I honestly think there's simple things that we can, because if we keep the people that's in there, they're benefiting a lot off of the way it's set up now. But if we had shorter terms of office and just the average people
I'm
actually
telling you, bro.
get.
And we need to reach. It needs to be changed, bro. Like that system. Some of it is really good. I understand why they make the senators stay in there so long, but it's the voting system and the way they do the elections and the money and all of that shit. That is the first things that needs to change. You know, the way we vote and also the way they do elections, the way they're funded and stuff like that. That needs to change. And as far as like the senators in the 6 years and 2 years, that's okay. Except like when they have to run again, we need to know like they should have put up what they said they was gonna do and how well, like their report card. They should have a report card because the thing is, the incumbent always has the advantage because of their name. People already know their name. A lot of times, voting is just the name, and that's all you really know about them. You're like, oh, I recognize that dude's name, so I'm gonna vote for him. And that's all you even know.
A lot of times, it's the political affiliation.
So that's what I mean. So whatever yeah, exactly. I'm Republican or I'm Democrat or whatever, and I just vote for that. So, but what I'm saying is they need to have a report card up there of what they did and how well they did, man, for the incumbents, like, and more transparency about who these people are who's running. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was saying before, I'm into politics, and there's so many people be running for different races. I don't know who the freak these people are. 200 fucking people. I can't fucking go do research on 200 motherfuckers.
Well, I'm with you on that. But you know, because I mean, my thing is like, we hear about people like, you know, like I've heard about some people like I even like over all the way over in Georgia, where they would have been perfect for the job. You know, the people liked them, but because of, you know, what I think is systematic ways of being able to, because I mean, they're like, if the people that's in office, like, okay, if this person gets in, this is they're gonna disrupt everything that I'm trying to do, and this, that, and the other. So they push all kind of money into another person that's willing to be like, all right, look, let me just get in. You know, I just want me a good salary that I can count on, and I'll help you get whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a bunch of just you know, people who's just like what Kwame Brown call them, the get along gang. The you know, it's that kind of thing that's been happening. You know, and a lot of them have these budgets that can push. You know, can get things moving a lot quicker than it can be for somebody who's at grassroots. You know,
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired as hell. I'm probably gonna take a shower and lay it down soon.
yeah, I know this is the end, but yeah, man, we can do this again, pick it up. I know we got off subject quite a bit, but it's all encompassed.
And that's why I'm doing these. They gotta watch all the videos to understand this shit, because we be touching on shit here, touching on shit there. Yeah, so make their ass go back and watch the videos, because we talked about some of this shit in the other videos. So yeah. You have any, like, what's your final thought? What you like, you know, what you want to say? What you want to tell the people?
Look at the nationality, man. See how real it is. You know, me telling you is not gonna do it for you. You need to research it and understand it. I think it's very important for all of us. Our reality is it could be different, and I'm gonna leave it at that. That's my
people need to recognize,
man. Like, you know,
that nationality, you can call that the Matrix, right? Because it's not real. Or citizenship.
Yeah, I mean, especially for Black people. I mean, you know, I think at some point it could be affected by even for white people, because living under the color of law, you know, Black or white, those are not, you know, that's not a nationality. You know what I'm saying? And everybody has an origin. Your great grandparents came to this country as Irish people. You know, you're really
Now
Irish.
you're
You
white.
know what I'm saying?
Now you're white.
But yeah, so I mean, living under a colorable system, you know, that happens to be, you know, at the top of the caste system, but you know, still in all, that still doesn't truly give you nationality.
And what does that mean anyways? And what about your ethnicity, like in your culture, like and like because I don't know if we talked about it in the other one, but like the people transforming into white, like changing the way they talk and the way they dress and everything to kind of homogenize into this American view of whiteness. And then they let go all their ethnicity, the German ethnicity, French ethnicity, or I'm just saying German and French as an ethnicity because people don't really understand because that's like nationality. That's nationality, but what I mean is like German people because it's like if I start saying, you know, the actual people ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. But you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? I'm all over the place.
No. I feel what you're saying. Yeah, because I mean, regardless, yeah, it should be, you know, as far as having true identity, it doesn't link you by color, and anybody can get, you know, it depending on who it's going to be focused at, and it's mostly been focused at us because a lot of white people know their origin. They know that their, you know, they great grandparents came from here and, you know, settled here this year and this, that, and the other. I met an Italian guy. He got a whole, like, looked like an encyclopedia of his family from, like, like they know a lot
I
of this
wish
stuff.
that's one of the
But
main things I feel like we got so robbed of, man. It's so fucking sad because the people in African countries, other countries, like their names, that's how they track all that shit. And then they can go all the way back using those names. And it'd be first names, middle names, or last names, whatever. And they use them names and they track that shit all the way the fuck back, man. We can't do that shit.
no, it'll be tough because I mean I don't know if, you know, the slave papers that they actually have reflects the names that we carried from Africa for those who that came from Africa
Hell
because
no. It was
because of
whatever name they gave you because they couldn't even speak it to you. A lot of it was different people from different languages. That's what was so crazy. Like even if you got guys on a slave ship, you could call them a group of Africans, and the ship is like it's a bunch of Africans, but they from here, there, here, there. They got all different kinds of. They can't even communicate with each other.
yeah. But I mean, I wonder because like there's still a void of somewhat of misunderstanding for me because you know during a certain period of time, like when King George and Queen Charlotte came over, like a lot of people were coming here based on, you know, they were a bunch of nobles that came from Europe into America that were black people. So, I mean, them coming out of Europe, even though they were black people, they weren't enslaved. They were actually like you know, a lot of
And
the,
that's
you
that's
know,
the that's that's the story that's super interesting. Like I was saying, and in all the movies, they'd be like a free black man, and like, who were these people? Who were these people? Especially with all the stories of how you could be just a regular person walking around and end up in fucking slavery. That's so interesting. Yeah, that's interesting shit. But that's not related. That's kind of different from what I was saying. What did I say? I was talking about the what did I say? I
the
don't forgot.
nationality Germans.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's different. Yeah. So like these people are losing their ethnicity. They're giving it up for the whiteness so that they can get the privilege that comes along with it for checking white in the box.
Because
Checking the white box.
we were the white people of the land because it just means the god of the land, the landlord. Like that's what the white represents is pretty much the landlords of this continent, this country or whatever. That's what that really represents, the purity of, the blood that runs along with
Because
that.
those Egyptians click white when they come over here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that do that you would be surprised, from different countries around the world that click white. They check white.
People might, I
White
wouldn't,
white.
because I understand all of that, and I mean, it's actually within the articles of it's within our laws. It's within, like, I forget what the papers are called, but there's certain people of North African descent, European descent, that come here that can rightfully take that title. So, and it's not based on skin color at all. It's
A lot
just
of people
based
don't
on,
know that shit. A lot of people don't know that shit.
yeah. Well, yeah, we can pick this up next time, man. If you want to talk about that some more.
The what? What you talking about? The
I mean, even on the national, because I mean, that's one of my biggest things that I campaign for, is people, getting to understand that more, and
and I
maybe I
really
can,
want. I want us to talk about it more. I really do, because I want to know more, and the law stuff. Well, just give us some. I'm still chilling.
Well,
give them some law. I like the law side of it, the words, and what the words mean in the law and shit like that.
Well, one thing to think about, because there's some very pivotal things that happen in our country that really helps make sense of it. Because if you are taught the basic stuff that like what they teach in our our school system, is coup d'etat. It's a Latin word, but it's term. It's a Latin term that actually explains how the government, when they killed. Well, let's see. They killed a bunch of senators and all, because at one point it wasn't. I guess you could say there was a president or somebody at the head, but it was more senators. It wasn't like just one person at the top before the United States happened. There were like 9 presidents before George Washington. I wish I knew all of their names and all, but he was the actually the ninth president of USA, United States of America. But they took over, like they killed a bunch of the congressmen and senators that were in office, a bunch of black people that was running things, because they was trying to take over. So that action is what they call a coup d'etat. So from there, they've been stealing the birthrights of the original Americans. They've been giving themselves those titles, and even in Mason lodges and all, they practice a lot of those things that we practice beforehand, the government and things of that such. But if they look back at when Lincoln, if they just go back as, well, hold on, 1972. No, not, I said 1772 or 70. No, the government was really formed in 76. So 2 years before, 1774 is the year where they denationalized the Moors, people who were of North American descent, and people who had been running the government from Morocco to this and this side of the Moorish Empire. That's when they really start stealing our birthrights. So 1774, the reason why they killed Abraham Lincoln. There's a lot of different things that really, all of our history plays back into itself. So even, stuff that happened in the 80s, things that happened in 1980s, like all the way back to 1871, or like back into the late 1800s, like all of it plays right back into itself. So that's why I say it really takes some studying and really reading. There's no way I could go back through all of that history to really understand what happened and really change things for us. So, but those things are very important to understand, to be able to stand on what you see and feel and how you act, how you respond with your paperwork. So it's not just some stuff where you just like, oh, I am, oh, that's what I am, okay, and just go do some paperwork. Because I mean,
don't work like that.
Yeah, you really need to understand this stuff so that you can be fully compelled and really, be like, for you to have that feeling in your heart is like, oh hell no, I ain't letting them play me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the point that I got to. It's like, oh hell no, I'm an idiot if I'm gonna sit here and allow, with me understanding it the way I do, to allow it to keep happening when it's me that needs to change it. Yeah, they did a wrong, but by my ignorance, and because ignorance of the law is no, what I'm saying, it's still up to each individual to be responsible for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So
and so much information out there, though. You just swimming through a sea of garbage, though. What do you recommend people to do to be able to get through all the trash?
Well, it was, for me, it was just because I met a lot of trash. I met some, I got a lot of good learning through it, but it's a lot of distraction out there. Because like I said, at one point through my, trying to find myself, or to know thyself was my journey to know thyself. I ran into the the whole Israelite paradigm. I ran into the whole sovereign citizen thing. I ran into all kinds of different little stuff that gives a lot of knowledge, and as you evolve, it ties in, but at the same time, that's not really where the meat of the source is, that really puts you, centers you, because anything that's related to faith and this, that, and the other, I mean, I'd rather have faith in my family that's right here around me, my mother, my father, and things like that, because all of us have that direct connection to God. So, I mean, trying to use another entity to lead me there when it's already here is, but we all stumble on some of these roadblocks on our way to learning, knowing thyself. So,
basically, like I always say, everybody's on their own spiritual journey, and really no other man can really just help you with it, like, because it's your own thing. But basically, you're saying there's no shortcut, and you have to dig through the trash. That's basically what you're saying. So how can they not get stuck in the trash?
Well, I mean, that's my thing is that I try to personally give people certain things that they can go look at. Don't take my word for it, because okay, he was like a good guy. He seemed like he knows. I mean, a lot of our governments can seem. I mean, everybody trusts Obama, but not to say everybody, but most of us trusted Obama. But he still had a job that he was doing for people who put him in that place. So there were still things that's missing. He did a great deal for us by doing the rights of indigenous people. I think a lot of too is a lot of people really believe that all black people came from Africa. No, I mean this world, like there was black people all over the planet. Like, we're indigenous to the planet, and when we understand that, and like you read some of the articles, like the thing from Columbus, his diary tells what he saw when he came to America, and it was the copper colored people that, when he arrived, that is what he saw. So who has the copper colored skin tone? You know what I'm saying? I'm Yeah, I mean, it's certain things that you have to really consider. And some of us were, real dark, but some of us on that spectrum of light to dark complexions. But it wasn't, some of them even said they look like the people of, of Ethiopia. And at the time, some, Europeans were calling Africa Ethiopia, the entire continent. Lower, higher, and lower Ethiopia. So, some of it is going to be, hard to truly just understand because, you don't have all the information right away to be able to determine it. But as time goes and you keep studying, some of these things will be revealed to you if you are serious, you truly are trying to understand and learn. But there's certain things, the out of Africa theory has been debunked for decades, but most of us still believe it because that's the scenario they feed us in the media. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the world knows all of these things. Most people, if you talk to other Africans, Africans don't see us as, if like they don't see us as other Africans. They're just like, no, y'all Americans, the real Americans. If you talk to somebody who's really honest with you, like y'all are the real Americans. But we've been brainwashing us, holding a certain belief for so long. It's hard for you to get out of it until you do, I guess. But what you got there?
Did you watch any of the dragon video? Just this guy right here. You see New Life Tools? I'm not gonna play any of it. Yeah, I'm just saying, check him out.
Well, that's the guy. He was the guest on.
Yeah, you was the one who put me on that live, huh? Yeah, you sent me that link, huh? Yeah. I followed them already, so it just popped up and I just jumped right into it. I've been following them niggas forever. Red pill, blue pill, them niggas.
Yeah, I've been on them for a while now. But when you asked me, was I? You sent me the text message. You asked me, was I a dragon? And I answered, like I'm more of a phoenix.
Yeah.
Because like they're as learning about the Moors, it's an energy. And the dragon energy, the dragon Moors, is where a lot of this stuff began from, is being identified. They had the dragon Moors and they had the phoenix Moors. And the dragon Moors were somewhat more like a warrior. Like they had the alchemy, the same alchemy, but the way that they used their energy was different. And the Phoenix, of course, like I said, they had the same alchemy, but the Phoenix was more the type that would they kind of just let things work its course. And if you ever hear like the terms of where the Phoenix comes out of the ashes, is that like the rebirth. They do all what they can do while they're here, but when it burns down, it just allows a fresh new start for everybody. So that's kind of more the perspective, I guess, I look at it from. And like neither one of them are wrong. You know what I'm saying? Just like everything else, the polarities of life, neither one of them are wrong. And everybody has the energy that they come here with. So, but like I said, I'm more on the, sometimes I think like a dragon more, but I probably more, my actions are more like a phoenix.
Yeah, well, he has a Who Are the Primordials? Something like that. I think that's the name of the video that he did when he was talking about dragons, and the one that I played on my stream. And he was saying that dragons, they manage creation, like they manage the consciousness. That's what he said. And then they could take on many forms, a form of a god or a person or whatever. And like a lot of the stuff, some of the stuff he said in that video was interesting stuff that really made me think. He talked about the 8th dimension, just like he talked about magic and like, you know, voodoo or whatever.
Yeah, I watched I watched a good bit of it. I think I might have got a call or something that got me distracted. It's probably Lil Patrick.
Oh, you talking about from the stream? Yeah. So talk about stuff that you saw on the stream or whatever, because it was interesting as fuck. I watched the whole thing to the end.
Well, you know, some of the stuff you know, like I've actually, I think I may have experienced some of it on a small scale. I don't know if my pineal gland is completely decalcified, but I've had experiences where I could, you know, in dreams or, you know, astral plane, you know, where some of the things that he expressed, like flying and doing this and that and the other, I've been there. I've actually experienced some of that stuff. So I mean, I know it's real. You know, it seems as though his journey is a lot deeper. This is probably something that he focuses on a lot more than I do, because you know, I haven't. I guess I'm still more on a material. You know, I'm still attached so a lot, you know, a lot more to the material world than I am to the spiritual, which I think in between, you know, I try to have that balance where, you know, I can have that, you know, because I think if it was up to him, he would probably like totally detach and just, you know, have the, you know, all the experiences possible with, you know, the on the spiritual plane, where, you know, because of my family, you know, my attachments, you know, I haven't allowed myself to really get comfortable enough to be like, you know,
That's a really good
detach.
That's a really good explanation right there. I think a lot of people would understand you and sympathize with you on that. And but for me, when I was listening to them talk, like the reason why I enjoyed it so much was because I have done my own rabbit holes and studying and going down spiritual journey, and I knew about a lot of the stuff he was talking about. That's why I knew some of the shit he was saying had merit, because I had already discovered these things in other places, and the stuff he was saying kind of fits with all that. Damn, did we lose him? Man, I was gonna wrap it anyways. It always ends when it gets good, y'all. Y'all like the door in the background? I think that fucking I really like this this particular green screen with the door. Y'all see the door? Look at the door. Pretty fucking cool, huh? It's like the door opening to another dimension or another way of thinking, opening your mind, maybe escaping the matrix, maybe waking up, maybe facing your fears, or maybe it's opening the door to opportunity, to something that you never thought you could do, creating a new world. Oh, we're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but just all of a sudden the whole thing blanked out. But yeah, I definitely, like I said, I mean, I've experienced it as well, at least some of it, you know what I'm saying? I haven't had now some of the stuff that he was explaining was like what do they call it when you have the lucid like I think he was probably fully lucid, but I think he didn't really say it, or at least if he did, I missed it. Where I don't think he does like maybe because maybe he does do shrooms or something that helps him.
Well, some of that, I ain't gonna lie, some of that I can't subscribe to all of that stuff that he said, but there was a lot of truth to what he was saying. If you listen to what he's saying, you can hear, like one of the things was me and you was talking about no good and bad or whatever, God and the devil or whatever. He kind of touched on that in there, because he said they was talking about dark magic and light magic or whatever. And he said, it don't matter what you're doing, just keep on evolving, keep getting better. He said, whichever side you on, because it don't even really matter. It's all about growth.
You know what I was really compelled by, or had left me with some really deep thoughts, was when they talked about Haiti. And they mentioned, because I don't know if you saw that part, but the things that they said about Haiti and them experiencing a lot of the destruction that has happened there, and his explanation was that the people have gotten so detached from the voodoo that they used to do, their ancestors used to do, and they've attached themselves to Christianity and other religions, and that's separating themselves from, their true, like a lot of the stuff that they
And
practice.
it's really weird because even in my academic side, I do a lot of studying in Haiti. They have a weird mix of like native, old, cultural, spiritual practice mixed in with the damn Catholic ass, colonized ass fucking shit. It's so fucking twisted.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that was very interesting to me because, I mean, there's certain things that, because I mean, a lot of people, have misconceptions of what voodoo is, and, to think of it as like just some evil thing, if you don't really understand it or had some kind of teachings about it, it's really your connection to Earth, to the planet, to your,
It's
that's
nature.
it's nature, yeah, and
it's about evoking the powers of nature and connecting your spirit to nature so that you can invoke those powers, those energies.
And
You
I
could
guess
create or you could destroy, just like the knife. You can use it however you want to use it.
Yeah, but look, just think about this, because I've explained it to another person this way, was when when you're looking at science, when something, different elements, when they connect, what it'll do. Somebody who never saw that before is probably going to look at it like evil. So when
That's exactly right.
When you look at what sulfur does.
That's exactly right. And I say this is what they use. They use this to, especially black folks, it's a way to keep us away from knowledge, man. And and they do it to everybody because they use it with the religions and stuff. You're gonna go to hell. You're gonna go hell if you go start learning about that stuff. You go
cursing you.
You want to learn about voodoo? Oh, you gonna be right over there sitting with Satan with your ass on fire. I'm gonna sit over here and pray to Jesus because I ain't going to hell and all of this or whatever. But it's a whole bunch of triggers like that. Every time it's something, it becomes scary too. It's like a horror movie, and it's evil. Everything and blasphemous, right? The stuff I'm saying right now, they would call it blasphemous. It's triggers. It's triggers. As soon as you say something related to some kind of spirituality that's outside of the realm of their little bitty box that they're in, they say, I don't want to hear no more. La 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 la. You know what I'm saying?
And bliss to them, but in ignorance, you just kind of have to allow people to, you know, kind of find their way. A lot of people may not ever really see the, you know, it in, you know, the clarity of it. But, you know, it's easy to talk about Haiti, but even here in America, I mean, shoot, they used to burn witches, or what they considered witches, at the stake here in America. What was they had some famous place.
Bitch. All they had to do, if the dude, like, if he walked by a woman and he got like an erection, he would look at her and be like, "Witch," and they would burn that bitch. That's all it would take. That's all it would take. It was that easy.
Yeah, but that's
That
the
was a bunch of craziness.
Yeah, that was the craziness where, you know, they've allowed us to even condemn our own people when they are closer to, you know, reality or nature, or closer to God than we are. If you know, when they understand stuff like that, you're much closer to God, you know, based on the things that I understand now. Because, you know, I think we've all had you know, our schools hadn't done a good job if they hadn't programmed us to, or even our churches that programmed us as kids to stay away from it. So I mean, all of us had a touch of it. Most of us did, because I mean, there's some people who probably you know, had to do it in secret, or, you know, they had already kind of over by the time we came up, a lot of that stuff is diminished. But there's still people who practice it you know, even down in Haiti. That's what Haiti and probably other little countries, like some of those places where they killing all people, where they're knocking down the trees and all that. So some of those people that's not really into the whole modern world may still be practicing some of that stuff. So, but that was something that definitely caught my attention, because I mean, we don't even realize it, just because we've been taught that this is what God is and this is the way you should, you know, the way you should follow, and, you know, people, you know, following other people and this, that, and the other makes us detach from nature so much that all of us are really failing. But the whole, I don't know, I guess it was easier for them to look at Haiti because of that big because it was a volcano or something that erupted, right?
Yeah. No, they had an earthquake.
It was an earthquake. So yeah, they're looking at it like that. But because we hadn't really, I mean, California has been experiencing earthquakes for ever. Nobody really says anything about California like that, which that could still be a great deal of, I mean, if we look at it, it could be the same thing. If we're going to use the same methodology, the same kind of reasoning.
I agree that they make it political, because anything they put in the news that they choose to, you know, play videos of is making it like that damn the video of that airplane taking off in Afghanistan. They've been playing that shit on every station over and over and over. And they've still been playing that shit. Was how many days ago? It's probably been a week since that shit happened, and they still been playing that fucking video. That's a horrible ass video though. And then, you know, another thing kind of related to that, I'm getting off subject, but they were showing the people who had got shot in the airport, and then they were saying just some people got shot, or maybe the Taliban got shot. It was clearly it was, because they needed to get the people off the damn airplanes and shit so they can. But you can't really blame them, right? They had to take off. Like, and some of the people fell off the plane. How the hell why would your dumbass get on the damn? How did you really think you was gonna make it? You can't blame them for that shit. But they hiding that shit.
Well, you know, and I guess I had a few thoughts all in one right then and there, because it's like, you know, the people are that much in fear that, look, I don't give a shit. Like me, you know, dying in midair or getting shot, is better than dealing with these people. But
That's sad.
the other thought that I was having is also that the way that they're trying to pull on our heartstrings,
Right.
and that, like what we started off with, them being able to use our fear, that extra energy we're exerting,
Leeching off of us, sucking
yeah,
our energy. And this
yes.
pandemic shit and everything on the news. That's why don't nobody want to watch the news. Everybody tuning out because damn.
What see, and that's the whole thing. Before we had TV and radio and internet and all these other different things that keeps us in touch with everything all over the world, did these things not happen then? Before all of this, and I mean, we were just fine when we were on our own little ranch or, in our own little communities, and we just dealing with the people that's nearby. And now they have learned to be able to really, get us emotional, and, because even, some of us more than others, of course, but like just to get us off of our own focus, having our own agenda and our own direction that we're trying to go in. We're worrying about people on the other side of the planet that, probably gives a shit about us.
Yeah, but I got a huge heart for Haiti though.
I'm not. I'm not
It
saying
started
because I
rain
don't.
after the damn earthquake. They got the damn tropical storm. It was almost a hurricane. These niggas they houses then got knocked down. Now they under tents, and then this damn tropical storm came and blew their damn tents away, bro.
No, I mean I'm not saying, because I have a heart for them too. But what I'm just posing the question. Before all of this news that connected us from every point of the planet in moments, how did these things? How did we? We didn't have the ability to respond. So I mean, if this was before TV and all this, that, and the other, we wouldn't even know that shit happened over there. You know what
I
I'm saying?
I agree with that. But what I always say on my channel is that what happens in other places affects you. It does. Like there's ripples around the world. Even if you didn't know about it, that doesn't mean that it didn't affect you in some kind of way, because that's how it happens.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said,
So it's better that we know about it, so that maybe we could prepare ourselves for those ripples if we are aware enough to understand how everything is connected.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, because I mean, I am thankful that we do have the connections, because that allows us to be able to have a better understanding of certain things, especially with the internet and being able to do the research that I'm doing. Because I mean, before now, I mean, I wonder what consciousness I would be in at this point if it wasn't for that. I mean, it has allowed me to learn a lot of things in a small period of time. Like, I'm 45 years old, and within 10 years, the last 10 years, I've learned more than I had in the 35 years prior. So, of course I was learning things, but like I was able to learn things at an accelerated pace, especially since the internet. But that was just a kind of a, my question was just kind of, what if, how we wouldn't be able to react that way or whatever. But did you hear anything about the Nibiru getting closer?
What do you mean? I
That
don't understand the question, because I've read so much shit about that shit.
No, I'm talking about like it's actually like within a year, possibly this. Well, and this is something that I mean,
It would make sense.
They're trying
Now
to
that
get
would
the
make
calculation.
sense. Because you know how, like, okay, you know how we always talk about how the stars affect us. We clearly, with the horoscopes and stuff, and it has to do with the bodies, the heavenly bodies, right? And as they move, and when they get closer or further away, or whatever the hell, or which direction they're spinning, or the direction it appears that they're going. So the thing is, it would make a lot of sense if there was a planet that kind of goes away and then it comes closer. As it gets closer, we would get more chaotic on Earth, even just as the energy of it getting closer. You know what I'm saying? The chaos of just pandemics and just like world wars and that would make a lot of sense.
The prediction is possibly because I mean I'm looking at how a lot of things that they've been saying is linking up to it, that it could be, closer to like December of this year. Like the shortages, the excessive heat, the like there's a lot of places that hadn't seen triple digit temperatures.
I was just watching a report. They was talking about, where were they talking about? Alaska, wherever they was talking about. This place hadn't got rain in like ever. It always snowed, and this time it rained, and it rained for a long time. It was like a freaking fucking hurricane type rain, and it washed away a lot of shit. And it was just like, it was the first time ever. I was watching a video of this just like today or yesterday. Crazy. First time ever.
Well,
as far as they know.
It was some billionaire. I don't know his name. Like I've seen him. Like he gives different seminars or whatever to help millionaires become billionaires or something. And he had mentioned, like he sounded so certain that when he said when the tsunamis come and blah 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 whatever. And then I end up seeing another video where they were talking about this, Nibiru or Planet X that is, like getting closer and closer, and how CERN is trying to get the calculations right because it's so close to the time that they can't be wrong about it. But they're saying like how.
But the thing about that, the only thing about that is that we have a whole bunch of fucking telescopes fucking looking in all sorts of directions. Mm-hmm. The crazy thing about the universe or whatever that people don't really understand as far as outer space is that there's so many directions. That means there's infinite directions. So that's a problem because it could be coming from a direction that we're not looking. But they have a lot of utensils. I can't think of a better word to pick up different kinds of like vibrations or light spectrums and shit like that. Radio waves, whatever, vibrations. So they would see, what I'm saying is they're going to see it. They should be able to see it, a good amount of time before it gets here.
Well,
and they're going to have to say it because it's going to be right there. People with regular ass telescopes going to be able to see it, and they're going to say, what the fuck is that? And they're going to have to say, oh, that's fucking Nibiru or whatever come around.
Well, I mean, just think about all the stuff they're saying that the aliens are coming and showing up and this.
That might be a get you ready. Yeah.
And Space Force, and like they're gonna have to have a Space Force ready to this and that and the other. Like they're saying like the kind of thing that is most likely gonna happen is that there's gonna be like asteroids and other things that's gonna come along.
Most likely,
debris.
That would make sense too. Like I say, naturally, because just from what I know about physics, if you have this big ass fucking thing and it's coming your way, it's definitely gonna be. Its gravity alone is gonna be pulling something along with it.
And that's the thing. It's got the disruption of a lot of our magnetic field.
Exactly.
Because this Nibiru is supposed to be 5 times the size of Earth.
Yeah, that's what it said.
It's kind of the same. It says it's like a planet that's practically the same. Like has the same kind of elements or whatever as Earth. So it's full of different pools, magnetic pools.
It wouldn't even matter, like, if that size, the gravity alone would mess with our magnetic field. I want to say Jupiter has an impact on our shit, and it's way the fuck over there.
Well, they're saying that Mars, because they're saying that's one of the reasons why they're been going to Mars a lot, was to be able to put things there to give warning signs for us, because it'll affect Mars before it affects us directly. So they're just trying to be able to have
That makes
those
sense too.
Yeah, so
Early signal signs and stuff. Yeah, because like I say, they got a bunch of people don't want to believe, but they have a lot of shit out there. They got them. How the hell we got this GPS used to do? Oh no, you didn't. I was finna say you used to do freaking cell phone stuff, but that satellites. That's how we got the GPSs and the fucking internets and shits. You know what I'm saying? It's a real thing. So, but those satellites also, they have satellites that's trying to see shit and hear shit too.
Yeah, and they've the videos I was watching, because I sent you a couple of videos. You check them out when you get a chance, and you might want to subscribe to that guy. It was on some TikTok videos, but it's comparing it to biblical times, where like these things, there's nothing new under the sun. This is just another time that it's gonna come back. During the times of Noah, where all the water came on the land,
right?
This, that, and the other,
and that would make sense. That would totally make sense if it was a big planet out there disrupting our gravity and making the water just kind of move where it wouldn't be otherwise.
Yeah, and
or even like moving to a new place.
Those asteroids, or I don't know what's the other term for the
comets, or comets, or meteors, or whatever. Asteroids,
large meteors, or whatever, comets, whatever it is, that will splash into our ocean. Because not aside from the interruption with our magnetic field, but also because I think it's going to affect the moon and all these other things too. But the meteors hitting the ocean and pushing water onto the land, it's like, what I'm saying, it's going to
be catastrophic.
Yeah, and they saying this thing is supposed to last 155 days, like the whole as far as having to be sustainable for that period of time. They're saying from like December to March. So
but damn, then you could call that kind of like the rapture of the Bible, because it's just going to be a certain amount of people who just not going to make it.
Yeah,
because if you got all these things hitting the planet, and no matter, it's just unfortunate wherever you are, if you're in the wrong place, you probably not gonna make it. So, but it's not gonna take out all of humankind,
No. I don't think it ever will. But
we'll make it through.
Yeah, some people will make it through, the more prepared they are, because within the 3 months, however long that period, because that actually would 155 days will actually be like 5 months, huh? So
I don't know the math on that. Don't give me the line.
90 is 30. 3 months is 90, so another 60 days practically. Another 25. No, shoot, yeah, another 55 days. So no, that's 65. Yeah, so that's like 6 months that they're saying that it could be affecting the entire planet.
That's why they say, and go along your spiritual journey and get as much far as you can, I guess, right? But what I be saying all the time is that we're not supposed to be afraid of death. And that's another thing that they've been teaching us with the colonization, is to be afraid of death. And that's another way to control people, because now they're scared, because they're feared.
And like I said, lot of people I wouldn't even share this with because that would just totally freak them out, and like it'll be me the one that's sending them into this craziness. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I know that that's, you know what I'm saying. But the main thing is like it is what it is. Life, you know what I'm saying? Life is gonna happen. You do what you can do while you're here, but it's gonna, I mean, there's things that's gonna be out of our control. I mean, shoot, there's places already that's underwater. Shit, right now, I think like the New York area is under flood warning.
They got a bunch of rain, yeah. But that's what's different though, because see, the weather is changing. So they get more rain, they get less snow, and the weather changes different times and shit.
Yeah, but isn't there a storm that's going that way?
I did see that. I didn't see it hit land. I saw them projecting that it was gonna be like they thought it was gonna be a hurricane, but I think it's a tropical storm. But it's going right along the East Coast, and it looks like it's landing around Maine or some shit. New York, Maine, yeah.
Yeah. So and that's really weird because most of the time when
that's another thing that's different. They come this way usually. Yeah, they come in usually. This one went out and then they don't never make it that far up north.
Very seldom.
Yeah.
The last time that, I mean, because what was that? The last
they had one. Yeah, they had one, but they were saying this was the first time in forever.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, I'm gonna wrap it, bro. I need to, because I gotta get up in the morning, so I'm gonna force myself to go to sleep. So I'm gonna take a shower. Hopefully that'll put me to sleep.
For sure, man. Well, I'll talk with you later, man. Check out those videos I sent you earlier, and that way you'll kind of get an idea what I was looking at, and
Cool. And we'll talk about it next time, man. And like I say, I appreciate your time all the time, man. It's always cool to hear your thoughts and opinions. And we need to find something to argue about. We be agreeing too much.
Yeah, well, maybe you need to get somebody on that don't agree so much or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Make it a panel discussion and,
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna figure something out, like some kind of like controversial subjects, and just blow, and then see what you say about it, and other people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll have that thing that we just totally disagree on, but I don't know. I just think that just the way we think, and we're open. We're open to.
What do you think about polygamy? What do you think about black people? And I think black people naturally are polygamous, and I think they're actually doing it right now, but they just lying to themselves.
Yeah, they don't really see it that same way, but I think that is a normal thing. That's another societal thing that they've stripped out of our.
Damn! I thought you was gonna disagree with that one. Most black people be like, "What?
No, man. Honestly, like
men and women, both sides.
Well, honestly, I kind of felt like I was in a polygamous relationship to a certain extent because, I'm divorced legally, if you want to look at it on the legal side, but at the same time, I can't not live without, leaving that window open for something happens with my ex-wife job, or they going through some issues, they got shit broken over at the house or need something going over there, like I'm there doing whatever needs to be done, so it's cool. My son lives there, like it's what I'm saying, so I can't totally detach from that. And then I had other relationship that
and that's what I'm saying. Most black dudes are paying for multiple households.
Yeah.
So even if they not getting some, out of each one of them households. But most of the time they are, because that's a part of the deal a lot of times. And that's what I was saying in my video. I don't know if you was watching it, but we was looking at these chicks, and they be having these brand new Range Rovers and just bought a house and all of this shit, and they supposedly single or whatever, and they might have a nice job or whatever, but like ain't no way in hell they can they can afford this brand new BMW and this loft apartment downtown and shit. You know what I'm saying? They got niggas paying for that shit, and somebody is paying their rent, or probably somebody paying their car note too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are sugar babies. Those females, they're sugar babies. That some sugar daddies paying.
So
at least
that's
a portion of their.
That's polygamy right there.
Yeah. I mean, monogamy is really, I mean, for some people, yeah. But I think, and I don't know, maybe I'm just, drawing from my own feelings, but I feel that for most people at some point in their relationship, like, certain things get old. Like,
I don't think it's natural for us because we're like mammals, we're rabbits, I really don't think it's natural for us to do that. I think like teach his own, but I still think that our natural spirit is not that.
No, I don't think it is. And and really in the past, like let's just say somebody that some people became the wife of another man, or the man took on this other wife because somebody close in their society, in their community died. And whether it was behind war or just for whatever reason, and then he takes on this family because
exactly, because that was his buddy, his friend, or whatever it was, and he felt like he needed to do that to he felt obligated. Yeah.
So people just don't need to be. They don't need to be so closed-minded. Like, I mean,
Right. They just need to open their eyes and kind of look at it more wider, as far as it's a brainwashing. It's a brainwashing to tell you, the whole thing, I think, with the marriage and the wedding ring. I was talking about the wedding ring and Saturn and the Lord of the Rings and the devil and then with the law and them niggas in them fucking robes. Why you gotta go stand in front of these niggas in these fucking robes?
Yeah, probably got their drawers on underneath.
Like, who does that? Like, who started this shit? Damn.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is symbolic.
Yeah, it is
stuff, but it's all masonry, and that's they deal with a lot of symbols.
And I'll be talking about the man. The man inside the woman, the man inside the woman, and like the womb, and then like the Virgin Mary, the original image, the old image of the Virgin Mary is really a vagina. You know what I'm saying? And it is worshiping the womb. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like that's what a lot of things. Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. Because what would I say before that?
Well, it sounds like to me what you're getting to is like a lot of these things.
The man inside the woman, and those fucking the way that they build those. It's the fucking, I can't think of it right now.
Arches.
But it's the arches, right? And the shape of it. That's the vagina. And then the man inside the woman, because he comes out of it. And it's like, that's the damn robes. The man inside the woman, like, that shit go deep.
Yeah.
Because originally, all the oldest religions, the pagan, it's a feminine. Mother Earth. That's what they worship. They worship the feminine, like, creator, or the feminine god, or whatever you want to call it. That she's the most badass. She's the one to be scared of, and she's also the one that creates everything. So all the super old, like, pagan, that's what everything is Mother Earth, everything is that. And So they flipped it on the masculine, and that's another thing within the Bible was like they talk the main thing everybody know about the Bible is the Garden of Eden and freaking Eve giving, doing the first sin. And it's like women are they want to worship men. They want to worship the masculine. They want to worship,
Well, and
instead of the feminine.
that's something that I think because I heard this. I'm not sure where I heard this, but any just society would be a matriarchal society,
And
and and that's why most of our countries are named after females or with a female feminine name. You know, uh, especially in Latin
California
or
is an interesting. The name California is an interesting story. Go ahead.
oh
That was
yeah,
a woman's
Khalifa.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, Queen Khalifa. Um, but yeah, to have a matriarchy that is, run by men is where we're gonna find more balance. Because if we have the feminine principles, or men, because we end up with a sick society when we have, if we have a patriarchal, because if it's run by females, it would have to be more on
It's more balanced. That's what you said, and
pa-
that's what it is. Because that's what the people don't understand about matriarchal societies anyway. They think that it's women running it. No, the way matriarchal societies work is there's a communication between both, and we all may come up with the agreements together. That's the difference. The patriarchal society is all like, oh, the women just, take care of the kids in the house or whatever, and let the men freaking make all the decisions.
yeah, but but it's still with that woman in mind. It is, because I mean, if people think that America is, I mean, because there has been, they have been trying to project more of a patriarchal type of government within, like, this what was already a matriarchal society, and this is stuff that's just happened within the last 100 200 years, what I'm saying, where
I
it's
think
really
so
evolved
too.
that way.
And that's what I be saying to everybody. I think so too. I think that it's natural for us to have matriarchal societies. It's just natural. This is not natural. So it's kind of like the Matrix again. Like it's an illusion. It's not even real. Because another thing I say, even though we, like you say, have this image of the patriarchal society and even laws and religions to back it up, reality is when you go home, guess what? We in a matriarchal society as it was, because your mom, how much power does your mom have in the damn household?
All of it. All of it. Because look, I mean, because that's one of the things where most people don't realize. And when there's a two-parent home, and in most cases, okay, if the man is putting down the law, then there's gonna be some, if he's putting down the law and enforcing it, you got more so of a dictatorship. But if mom is putting down the law and dad enforces it, that's where it becomes more balanced.
Yeah, and
Because
that's when it's
your
really
mom,
more matriarchal, because she's always, even if you put the woman in charge, just because of the way she's made, she's gonna ask you what you think or whatever, and she's gonna consider it, and that's gonna be a part of her decision, just because of the way the feminine principle. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna want it to be balanced. She's gonna want your
but I
input,
think
and then she's gonna actually use it.
but I think a fair man, like a fair man, I don't want to just
It's
say
gonna do the
male.
same, and
They're gonna do the same,
that's
because they're not looking at this, like this is, this home, some people are gonna say is just a business, but no, this is the beginning of your first government. Yeah, money is involved, you know, people are involved, like really your home is your government.
It's
the
their
first government.
empire.
Yeah. So when you look at it that way, I mean, the queen has its impacts. Like she's gonna, have, it might not be visible to the public the same way because of I guess really how society has become or whatever. But she has a great influence. A woman that knows how to use her powers, has a strong influence on everything that happens in that house. I mean, it just is. I mean,
It is what it is. And
yeah,
because as soon as the woman enters a home, it's like her domain, and she's pretty much running the show. It don't matter how masculine and dominant the male is.
hey, look, well, that's the thing. A woman doesn't enter a home. A woman creates a home.
Exactly.
She enters a house.
So there is no home without her.
Yeah, she enters a house, and she created a home.
Yeah. So that's why she has so much power in it. She created that hoe. That's her baby. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you're going to submit to that. And that's what I think people don't really understand is that it's about, women submit to men, but men also submit to women. So,
exactly. But even though the roles are different, there's still submission on both sides. And
that's the problem comes in, I think, when one side doesn't want to submit or they don't want to admit that they submit or, whatever. Because the woman, like right now, the masculine, I'll be saying, I see toxic masculinity, but I see it coming from females. And a lot of that is related to that, not wanting to submit, because they feel like now he's going to dominate me and control me. And I'm a strong black woman and I'm not submitting to no man.
But
no white man, no black man, no man.
But that's how our minds have been perverted because, this has always been the case until, the European styled or, type of idea, because like even even going back to the whole monogamy thing, like that's a European idea because,
that's what I be saying. When niggas don't hear me.
Yeah,
I hate that we agree on this because I swear every time I say that, I'm serious though, because every time I say that, niggas be like, what are you talking about? Yeah, bro, that monogamy shit, that's not even us at all.
Well, I mean, it's hard to explain that to somebody. I mean, that, if they haven't really studied different societies, they're not going to know. Like, from like just history of different people, you don't really know that. And because you were born into this society, you're into this type.
Niggas gotta fucking open their mind and read a book. There's a National Geographic that shows it's a tribe in Africa right now to today, because this is their tradition. They live kind of like in the desert. So I don't want to say the wrong names of the peoples. So they live in the desert and they kind of like nomad kind of people. They live off the land, like maybe they have goats or whatever. It'd be small family groups. And I don't know, I think it's 4 years or 6 years or 10 years, however long it is, they have this kind of like festival thing where all these groups that are spread out around like the desert areas, they come together and it's literally like grassland. I'm calling it a desert, but because they live there, but it's, it's sparse land. It's not very, it doesn't have a lot of grass and stuff like that. So that's why another reason why they're spread out. So then they come together for this festival. And one of the things it's like, okay, the guys, they dress up to look pretty, and so the women can pick them. But all these guys, a lot of them have wives, and this is kind of like, it's not really a one-night stand because the festival will go for like days or a week or longer. And during that time, they're permitted to have sex with the woman. The woman has to choose him, and then she takes him home, takes him to her tent or whatever. And, and his wife knows about this. Like they're there at the fest. Everyone's there. And, that's how it goes. And they can gain wives this way too. A lot of times these are younger girls or the ones that may be looking for husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
they don't all have to be younger girls. It's all whoever. That's how it goes. That's the tradition that they do.
but I don't know if it was exactly that kind of ritual or type of thing for because like my wife, well, my ex-wife, uh, like that's a common thing in there. She's from Nigeria. That's a that's a common thing. Like her uncle right now has two wives. I think her grandfather had like four or five. So I mean, this is something that has been going on forever. And of course, like different stages of a man's life. Because I mean, if we really are honest with ourselves, like men, as we get older, we still, women kind of as they get older, you know, I- I guess it's a little different in, these days women are a lot different, but like back then, it was kind of like they done had children. They kind of like, all right, you know what? They done with all of that. They still have the husband that takes care of them or whatever. But then they end up getting a younger woman. They come in. It's either they add it to the home or they have a separate home that's maybe on the same compound, and they're family, a new part of the family. It's no big deal. It's no like, oh hell no, I ain't dealing with that. And no, I mean this is a part of the culture. This is a part of you know what has always been. And then plus, I mean, just with the simple math, I mean, there's always, ever since the beginning of time, that at least at calculatable time, there's more women on the planet than there are men. So is there all of those women no good? Should they
And
never
that's
have?
exactly. And if you look at the other mammals, like almost all of them, that's the setup every time. It's a bunch of females and fewer dudes, and the dude pretty much mashes all the. And then some of the dudes don't even get. It's usually only a
Well,
couple of the dudes get all of the chicks.
if you look at just the lion, because there's some, during mating season, the only one that is the only lion that is actually impregnating the lionesses, they is the one who's the top dog.
Yeah.
If there's
And if he
five,
catch you fucking one of his bitches, he'll kill you. And if you fuck around and have some cubs, he'll kill the cubs too.
exactly. That's why a lot of times they send the cub off to, like let him just go off on his own. But if he stays within that same little community where another lion, you know, actually,
Some
seeded that cub, that new lion that came in and is running the show, most likely gonna kill it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because he ain't gonna want no baby, no young ones, and then he gonna make all new babies. So, and also it drives the girls back into heat. So then they now they because when they have cubs, then they don't they don't go into heat. But then if the cubs die, then they'll go back into heat, and then
hmm yeah,
so yeah. So
we
all
can
of the
we can learn a
mammals.
lot from nature. We can learn a
Yeah,
lot from
that's what I
nature.
tell them. And I watch, but growing up, man, I seen, and I till to this day, I still watch. That's the main thing. If I'm gonna watch TV, it's gonna be a documentary, most likely, and most likely it's gonna be some kind of nature documentary. That's what I watch, and I love it. I love it. I love it. It's peaceful. It rests me, make me, relax me. I'll just let the shit play and go to sleep to it, because
Yeah.
that's what it is. But like I say, the mammals, all of the mammals, it's always a dude with a bunch of chicks, and we're mammals, so we can't, we keep forgetting that. We
Yeah, and
can't.
we're supposed to be at the top of the chain of it. So how is it that we, being the most the smartest of all the mammals, or the most, like where we actually control this, have the most control of the planet, at least in our eyes, that we don't deserve, or we don't,
And
like
it has
we.
to do with dominance, because that's exactly I never thought of it this way, but that makes a lot of sense because you're saying, because like going back to the lion example, it had to do with his dominance, right? And then his power, his ability to protect the to keep them safe, and also maybe to lead them to, good terrain and good kills and all that shit. So the dominance of him is the reason why he gets to have all the bitches. So if you look at it on a big scale as humans, then definitely we're dominant of the other creatures. So within our species, we definitely gonna have, alpha males that's gonna want to fuck all the bitches. And then you know what's crazy about that? Let me say a flip on that. What's crazy about that, and I know this is true because you could put on a wedding ring, or maybe you had sex with the night before. The bitches be all on you. It's weird. It's like they want the dude that's fucking the other bitches.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, as far as growing a society, like, the average man is not what they want to keep producing. They want to produce more alphas. So that's the whole idea behind that. The strongest in the jungle, is why this one in this district, this territory, or whatever, that is the strongest of all the rest of them, is why they want to have cubs with this one, is because they want to produce stronger, bigger, stronger, wiser cubs. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but the hormones and the smells, because like he may not be an alpha male. He might just be fucking a bunch of bitches. Because like I say, it's like him fucking a bunch of bitches. It turns them on, or it turns that trigger. It kicks that pheromone in because they can smell it or whatever, and they fucking want to be next and shit. Like, especially if the nigga then impregnated some bitches. Oh shit, I want to get impregnated. Damn.
Well, and I mean, we can see it even in with humans, because I mean the most alpha doesn't, because I mean a lot of guys now are looking at alpha as being the ones with money. Like that stuff is even tainted
Yeah.
nowadays, because like the reason, like the guy with all the money, he's got paid and do all this jump through hoops for the woman to have sex with him. But then there's some guy that might be out the hood that expresses a certain level of manhood, that a woman is just like, he ain't got to pay for nothing. You look, I'll drop it like it's high for you, and I'll pay. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of alpha stuff is tainted. Especially, and it's mostly the people that's got money that's going around talking that crap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
because I think that's where they even got that shit from. They even like that survival of. That's when they came out with all that survival of the fittest and all that bullshit. That's when they came out with that alpha male shit too. It came out around the same time, and that's European mind fuckery.
Yeah. Because like like I said, I agree with a lot of stuff Kevin Samuels talks about, but at the same time, I think that he's got a lot of stuff flawed too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean a lot of women now are looking at the men with money, but it's not because they truly attracted to you. It's the reason why that they will give you some some of them might be they are really attracted to, but at the same time a lot of it is based, since our society is based on the economics of a individual, is one of the reasons, because they want to be protected and provided for, and this, that, and the other. So I'm sure it plays a big part, a big part for some women, especially if they're materialistic. But just on the bare nuts and bolts of it, when you just really kind of look at, just if you look at pure attraction, it has nothing to do with a lot of stuff that they talking about. That's why they get cheated on. A lot of them, you know what I'm saying? They go and, before they done got married, and some women, like, they go have a baby for a dude or get married to the dude. As soon as they have a baby, now she ready to go. You know
She
what I'm
done.
saying?
He done his
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, she got what she needed out of that. She gonna get her 50,000, 100,000, however many thousands every month until she marries
And sometimes
somebody.
it don't even be that deep. They just want a baby, period. Like he got green eyes, or she like his hair or something.
Yeah, not some people
Or,
get to
or
that
she
level.
feels like her clock is ticking and she running out of time. Just like, this is the nigga right here. I want a baby. I'm finna squeeze a baby out this nigga whether he want to or not. I'll poke a hole in the condom, everything. He finna give me a baby.
Man, when I was younger, man, shoot, the female, I didn't really have nothing, but shoot, I was, for whatever reason, they had guys around me who had money, but they wanted me.
That's what I'm
You know what I'm
saying. It
saying?
don't always be that. That's why I say they just like look at the dude and they be like, "Yep, that's the one. He finna give me a fucking baby. Fuck that." That's how they are. They so dominant. They so like they make the decision for you and shit.
Well, I mean, the woman's nature, man, is a very interesting thing, man, because based on what she's inspired by, she will react on it like.
I say the black woman is God all the time, because what's more scarier? And anyways, like they can go either way, because you know how I feel, God and the devil is really the same person. That's the black woman, man. like I say, bro, like and they can be the sweetest or they can be super evil, man. And it's like the most conniving shit, the scariest shit on the planet, or the most beautiful thing on the planet.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think the one creatures came before the other. I think that because I mean, if we
They
really look
different
at
from
it,
us though, man. Because
no, they're
like
different.
one of
No,
the things, like pain, and then you said strength in the other video. I think that was you. And like pain, they handle pain way different than us, bro. We
definitely.
can't handle pain like they do. They on a whole nother level with that.
Yeah, no. I mean, look. I don't reject
They
that at
different
all.
from us. Another thing I realized as having daughters and growing up around women, I think naturally they have less compassion than we do. Like they have a trigger where they could turn that fucking compassion off, like completely off. And I really do believe this. And I've been thinking about it for a lot of years. And you know what explanation I came up with? Is because of the maternal protection of the children. Because think about that. And even in nature tells you that shit. When that bitch is fucking protecting them kids, she'll kill the husband, the dad, the sister, the brother, any fucking body. You can get it. You get what I'm saying? And that's how they have that. I think they have that natural trigger in them to turn compassion off, because it could be their husband, their baby daddy, the one that's trying to hurt the child. And then that fucking compassion for him just clicks off, and that maternal nature takes over. You get what I'm saying? But not only with that, because they have that trigger, just like, we know they can cry, the ones that's good at it, they can cry at the drop of a hat. They also got control of that compassion just like that. They can flip that shit like a freaking switch. That's how they can be so in love with you 1 minute and the next minute, like you dirt to them.
Yeah.
That's what a thing why I say it separates us from them. They're different in that way.
I don't know, man, because I mean,
they heartless.
I think that's no, it's not.
They cold.
They
colder than us.
Come on, man. You see, look, they look. We all have the same potential. It depends on those experiences that these women have had, because what pushes them to that is what's going to be the thing, and that's with any human being. So for us to say that, because there's women that has grown up with different traumas that can allow them to reach that, but in its purest form, No, women, they're, like I said, they have the ability that, they can reach each extreme. But for just to say that they, really are, um, they're evil, they this, they got it. Yeah,
I'm not saying they're evil.
we
I'm
we we
saying
all we're
they
all
have more
capable of
compassion.
that.
They are no. They can feel pain that way more than us. They, they're
But that's the
stronger
way
than
they were
us.
designed. But I mean, they were designed to
That's
take
what I'm
because,
saying. That's the
but
point.
I mean, there's
And then
certain
like the
pain.
chicken. What about
There's
the
certain
chicken and the
pain.
egg, right? So like how? What if the first human, like, had to come from a woman, right? It had to be a woman first, right?
Well,
What do you think about that?
no. Well, I mean, of course, no. We'll never have the true answer to that because from what I understand, like at some point we were androgynous or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So, um, you know,
Like, but that's
uh,
what they say, and that means that the woman could have a baby without even having sperm from the man. She could develop sperm somehow on her own and create a baby.
okay. So, what stops them from being able to do that?
Like evolution, environment. You
Oh
know that.
Lord, oh Lord. So you believe in evolution?
Well, environment affects you, right? You can't deny that environment affects you, and you're shaped by your environment, and it also means that you're shaped by your environment over time. So that's just a reality. You can it fluctuates. It can go this way, it can go that way, or whatever. But
Cause and effect. Those are the two things that, now because of certain causes affected us in different ways. So, and there's it's not inevitable. It's not like, a definite thing that's what it was. That's a theory in which people have that's what happened. But I don't think God created just one of us. I think he created you know, a slew of us that, was just here. I don't think, that whole creation story, I
but
don't
that's
believe
don't
it.
I don't like that either. Cause so damn, we found something we can argue about. So damn, we can make a whole video about this later. But that's like I saw something that made me laugh, and they related to I Dream of Jeannie. You remember that show, I Dream of Jeannie? And the chick was like ding, 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 like that, and it was like
Yeah,
ding, 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 ding,
yeah.
like that. And then it was that was Family Guy, super fucking funny episode. They was like talking about the creation theory, and then they was talking about evolution, and then they had like a Christian, like a church, and on the part when they was talking about evolution, they just said God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I've seen I've heard
so,
lots of different
but what I'm
theories
saying,
on.
the idea of what you're saying of like people just appearing, like, I'm sorry, I can't. That one don't work
Well,
for me.
I mean, from what I understand is that we were sentient beings. Like we weren't material. We were energies here on the planet at one time that, you know, by the interaction of the elements and on Earth, we became material. So it was like through, if we want to call it evolution, okay. I mean, that's a maybe a fair term, but just for it to go just straight down the line
And
of,
I feel like why can't evolution be the process that God used as creation?
well,
Because we
um,
don't understand time, right? How long was 7 days? And we know the earth been here a long as time. That
well,
the whole process
well,
that they're even saying in the Bible could be true, but it was over a long ass period of time.
well, yeah, but I mean, there's also, I mean, because see, time, if we can't even really prove that it exists. I mean, there's been times, a part of time where there was 10 days of a week and 10 days of the year, 10 months of a year. Like we was on a different structure. So the way we see time now is totally different. And like we still don't have it figured out because we still gotta have a leap year. You know what I'm saying? So it's
That's
it's
true.
just, you know, it's still a way to, you know,
Confuse the shit out of everybody because I be talking about the new year. I talk about it all the time, and people get mad at me because the new year. How can the new year starts in January, ends in December, but how can the new year start in the middle of the winter? Like, think
it
about
doesn't.
that. How does that fucking work? That doesn't make any sense at all. Why would you start the new year in the middle of winter? Why would, that doesn't make any sense. That's
And the
not even
thing
at the
is,
that's
October is the 10th month when in octo means 8. So like it's confusing there because you know December was the 10th month, November Nuve the was,
that's a
you know,
clue.
9.
That's a
Yeah.
huge clue for people to go down that rabbit hole because I went down that rabbit hole too. And it's like I say, and that's why I try to tell people just to get them to start going down the rabbit hole is why would you start the new year in the middle of winter? It's
Well, and
clearly the middle of winter. If you any conscious we even the way the cycles that we do is by the sun. So
yeah,
why would we the birth of the sun is in the spring? And the flowers and
exactly.
everything's coming out, and you
Well,
know the
that's
squirrels
the
and
new that's the
birds
new
and the
year for our.
bees.
But see, that's the new year for my government and Chinese government. You know, based on our government, this is 1507, 15,007 years
Mm,
right now. So, but yeah, the new year is in March.
right, and that's what I say every time to people, every time, and they like, what? No, New Year's in January, but that doesn't make any fucking sense. What
Well, no,
sense does
see,
that make?
well, let me just give you this because the new year became January when um when Europe defeated the Moors. Yeah, January 1st. Well,
And January is like a Greek god or some shit, right? Like it's
yeah,
either Greek or Roman god or some shit.
yeah. I mean, we have to look up Gregorian
That Europe is
calendar.
that. Yeah, I don't care. We know both of us know it's that European shit.
Well, yeah, of course. That's that's full agreement.
Man, I'm gonna wrap this up, bro. I've been trying to say that for the longest.
We done put on another hour and a half since we said we was gonna get off.
Cause man, it'd be good, bro. I'll be enjoying this shit. And that's you know what the title of the next one we make together. If I'm sure you're getting on that night, I'm gonna call it. We're gonna argue about evolution or some shit like that. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
that's
Cause
fine.
yeah, cause that we found something we disagree on.
All right. Well, you don't want none.
We could debate it. It'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Well, yeah, because I don't. There's no win or losing because there's no, you know, full evidence for
Yeah, at the
anybody, the
end,
top scientists. But I do have some arguments on that, so we can.
and I do too. So, cause I'll be debating it all the time. I have to because, like, creationist theory in China, you know, you know, that's like I say, that sounds like old girl saying, "Ding, ding, 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 ding."
Well, you know, and
So,
the Big Bang Theory. I don't know. I just don't get that.
and we could talk about that too, because I know a lot about that shit. I've studied it really heavy because that is it right there. That is it right there. Because that is, like I say, I think that science is looking for God, and that's one of the ways they're doing it through that. So they're like, what the hell happened? They know they understand that it was all like dense and then it expanded. Like they could this is like but the physics doesn't work when it's all like the singularity. So there's a point kind of like in the black hole. There's a point where the physics doesn't work no more. And that's where they're looking for God right there because that's where creation because
Yeah.
a black hole could be creating another universe on the other side.
Black hole. All right. That ought to be good.
Yeah, we're gonna do it, man. Peace and love, man.
All right, bro.
I enjoyed talking to you, man.
Same here, bro.
All right.
Next time.
All right, peace.